I'm Grant Sandground, Director of Product Development at the Upper Deck Company, and this is the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast.
Hello everybody, my name is Ian Taylor and you're listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast, your weekly digest of hobby goodness. I'm grinning from ear to ear already, Grant. We've only just begun. It's been a long time coming, but finally the moment has arrived to come aboard. So slip on some purple suede moccasins, adjust that silk robe or smoking jacket, pick up that daintily prepared margarita and let's ascend together to the upper deck of this magnificent cruise, where this week's guest, Grant Sandground, Head of Product Development, has prepared a feast of glorious Marvel card goodness for us all. Welcome, Grant. Hello.
Hi, Ian. How are you doing? Happy to be here.
I I love having you on because I know what's coming because we've been chatting and I know what's coming up and I know the exciting stuff that we're going to get into. So, it's been it's been over a year since you've been on. I think it might have been
Perhaps April of
it was
2022,
April, May 2022, I think.
around there.
Um,
Yeah.
and boy, has a lot happened since then. So I think it's fairly safe to say that you guys have hit the ground running this year. Um, and all of a sudden, we are literally in a point now where we're getting a product release every maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And it's kind of quite dizzying, really. But are you glad that we've finally caught up and we're seeing some of this stuff that you've been working on for so long?
Well, it's good and it's bad, right? It is good to get caught up, but actually, I don't think we're entirely caught up, and I'll get into that in a minute. And I
Uh-huh.
know, listeners may be going, "Oh no," so let me get my flak jacket because there's more coming. It is good to get caught up, but then again, we realize that there is a detriment to saturating the market with releases.
Mm.
But we were caught between a rock and a hard place that we're still recovering from the pandemic related issues of distribution, printing, all that kind of stuff, where we made all this stuff. We're finally getting it printed and and distributed. So we're also coming on the heels of Marvel Studios with Phase 4 having perhaps too much content in it. I think a lot of MCU fans were talking about MCU fatigue,
Mm.
but we have a commitment to deliver products based on the MCU streaming shows and films. So we are following through there as best we can. But it's exciting. It's to me, it's always fun to get new releases. I can't stand it when I
Mm.
got to wait 3 months for a new product. I'm like, come on,
Mm.
let's get more. And also, you got to keep in mind, if you go look at the sports side of the world, sports collectors get new products like 4 a day.
Oh, it's
If you're
ridiculous.
collecting
Yeah, yeah.
football or baseball, I know you're a NFL football fan. There are days when you're getting four different football releases. So
Yeah.
it can be worse. I don't know if that helps
Mm.
everyone,
Yeah.
because we're a smaller market than a sport like football. But I know we've obviously got, I would say, some of the most passionate collectors and fans
Mm.
in the Marvel collecting world, be it on the MCU side or on the publishing side. So I guess I'm biased because I love all these new products. My team has spent so much time on them, and there's so much fun stuff that we can talk about with some of them. But I get it; there is a lot to handle here. But hey, it's always pick or choose what you like. And if your character collect, you don't have to get every single card of theirs. Find the ones you like. Don't buy every box. You don't have to buy every box that comes out. Buy the ones you like.
Yeah. Well, there is that. You say if your character collect, you don't have to get every card. It doesn't work like that for most character collectors. I mean, some
Yeah.
character collectors go for it if there's a text mention on the back of the card. Don't even talk to me about Marvel Annual, where you sneakily put Black Cat on the comic front behind six different characters. Six different characters. So I looked at the checklist. I'm like, fine, brilliant, I'm out. And then I suddenly see all these cards like Iron Man, like the picture of the comic behind her. It's there. So I was like, oh, I've got to go and get that one now. So it's a blessing and a curse. Um, so I thought I made notes. The notes that you've made for this recording are incredible. So and you've counted them. So 11 Marvel products in the first 8 months of 2023.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about kind of a post-mortem on what we've done so
Hmm.
far, and maybe lightly touch upon a couple of the products.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have released 11 Marvel products in the first 8 months, ranging up through roughly August 31st, let's say. That's broken down into 6 MCU products and 5 publishing products. So roughly half and half there. Of the 6 MCU products, we had one was based on the Infinity Saga, phases 1 through 3 of the MCU. That was Marvel Funko Pop. That was a interesting product that was actually released at Comic-Con.
That's right.
And the other 5, 2 of them were based on cinematic films from Phase 4, being the Eternals and Shang-Chi. And the other 3 were based on Disney Plus streaming shows, being WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and What If, which I think surprised some people.
We'll get
I
on
think
to
that was
definitely.
way better than people thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be way better than people thought it was going to be, but it's
significantly
great to see that people are enjoying the product and finding some joy out of some of the cool chase cards in that product. So that's kind of where we've been, where we're going. Before we jump into where we're going, do you want to talk about any of the stuff we've done in the past 8 months?
Let's do it, because we've kind of got 2 halves to this episode. We've got to look back, and then we've got to look forward. So let's do the look back. And like I said, we're not gonna deep dive into each one of these, because we've only got a certain amount of time, and you've probably got a family to go home to. But let's touch on them. So one thing I noticed, I'm going to include Loki in here because it is out now, even though it's not on your list. Yeah. So you've got Loki as well, and I noticed we did miss Allure off that list, because that's phases 1 through 3 as well, isn't it?
Oh, you're right. There is the Allure Infinity Saga.
So you've got when you said based on the phases 1 through 3, and then you said Funko, I was like, I didn't expect you to say that. I was expecting you to say
Technically, Funko has Pops based on the MCU characters and the Marvel Comics characters.
Oh, interesting.
Although they're Funko Pops, so the nature of what Funko Pops look like, they all kind of look.
They kind of look all the same. Yeah. They're like chibis, aren't they? In that regard. So I want to touch on let's start with the Disney Plus ones.
Okay.
So WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and most recently Loki, which I opened a box of last week, I believe. I've got it sat here.
And no, What If? I consider What If a Disney Plus show.
What If? I would argue What If's in a slightly different class than the others. No disrespect to the others.
Oh, the content of it is very, very different. You're right. It's not driven by autographs, and I'd love to talk about how it differs from the other products you're talking about, because it is not driven by autographs.
Yeah, or sketches.
Or sketches.
There's no sketches in it.
I loved the challenge. I absolutely loved that challenge. We were told by Marvel, you can make the product, but you can't do any autographs or sketches. And we're like, game on. Let's see what we can do here, because we can take all our budget and put it into technology and be creative with it instead of being strapped by having to commit a lot of dollars to autographs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hold that thought. So let's talk about the autographs, because WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and Loki. Obviously, you had the top autos in those sets, but there has been some criticism that there were too many film cels and the autos were really, really hard to pull. So what? Just kind of give a sense of where that money's got to go and how it's different to the older MCU sets that you did sort of 4 or 5 years ago, where autos were easier to come by. If you just touch on that.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And we actually did make how could I say, we made a conscious decision around 2018 or so to adjust how we approached getting autographs from Hollywood actors. And also, I think since 2018, the nature of how you get and how much you have to pay for autographs of the actors has changed radically. That entire landscape where, back in 2012 or whatever year, maybe 10 years ago, where you could get, maybe if you're lucky, you got Chris Hemsworth or Chris Pratt. Trust me, what we paid for those actors back then is a fraction, an infinitesimal fraction of what we have to pay now. And that is in large part because of the proliferation of these huge name actors making in-person appearances at Comic-Con, New York City Comic-Con, Emerald City Con, and they are selling for a lot of money, especially any Star Wars or Marvel actor. I think we had chatted before the show. Mark Hamill is doing a signing now, and you have to pay $1,500 for him to sign and inscribe "May the Force be with you." $1,500. Let that rattle around in your head. And guess what? We're not getting any great deals or discounts off of these prices that the public is paying. So the cost of trying to get a Chris Pratt then versus now is just as far apart as you could imagine.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the first thing. Okay. So it's way more expensive. Even the some of the more peripheral actors, like, for example, let's talk about 2017 Spider-Man Homecoming. That was an autograph per box. Okay. And the big signer was not Tom Holland, because back then we weren't really very successful at getting all the key signers. It was still a great signer. It was Michael Keaton.
Yep.
But we didn't have Tom Holland. And that was a major disappointment for collectors at the time of release, that we couldn't get the star of the film. But we did manage to get such luminaries as Abraham Attah. You love him and I love him. Not really. No disrespect to Mr.
No disrespect
Attah,
to him.
but nobody's really looking for his autograph.
But his tie single relic still eludes me to this day. Still eludes me. Yeah.
All right.
But we're not talking about that.
But what we were allowed to do, the other thing to keep in mind is we're limited to which actors we can pursue to even go get autograph deals by Marvel. They may tell us, like, why isn't Angelina Jolie in the Eternals? Well, we weren't even allowed to make base cards of her because they didn't have her marketing rights. So if we can't do that, we definitely can't get autographs of her. And there are many other actors like Michael Douglas or Michelle Pfeiffer that come up like that. And they're just like, nope, can't do it. The other thing is, when you get into like, okay, we're going to build Spider-Man Homecoming in 2017, and we're going to deliver an autograph per box. What happens is 99.9% of those autographs are kind of the actors that you're not really looking for. They're not really the Michael Keatons. And so you're getting these huge autograph volumes of signatures from these sort of secondary names, just simply to fulfill the requirement of one autograph per box. And what happens is, I think Spider-Man Homecoming was about $145 a box back in the day in 2017. And you'd pull an autograph, and 99 out of 100 times, that autograph would sell for like $12 or $15. I don't want to really talk too much about what our competitors do with the Star Wars license, but stuff like that goes on over there. And then some of the autographs are very affordable. That could be a great thing, though. Hey, if you want to go spend $15 and get an autograph from, a Star Wars actor, great. It's probably not going to give the box buyer or the case breaker great satisfaction and feel like they got content value. And we weren't feeling like we were delivering value to the box, even when we were an autograph per box. And it was all $10 autographs. And we were missing the big stars, So we, after Black Panther, where we didn't get Chadwick Boseman, we all said, we need to change this. We need to step up. We're Upper Deck. We need to step up and be a category leader here and deliver the big names. And I think despite any digressions or concerns or criticisms of what we've done with MCU stuff in the forthcoming 5 years, one criticism can't be that you haven't hit the big names. Because I think you can't hit them all. There's no way. They're just human beings. Some people would just say, I'm not going to sign no matter what. Or some of them we're not even allowed to pursue, like I referenced, due to Marvel's limitations. But I think we're batting about, 75% on hitting the big names over the past 5 years. We're getting 3 out of every 4 of these big names that people want. And we're doing that at great expense. And we committed to it. We're still committed to it. And what happens is it strips a lot of your sort of funding and finance at the product level to build larger checklists, more technology, flashy inserts, cool cards that people just go, whoa, that's amazing. You are limited into a smaller box in that sense. The other struggle with MCU stuff versus publishing is that we don't get a script read. We can't really even start building our products until literally the film drops or the streaming show is done. Only then can we request a key set, which is a group of images provided by the licensor. We don't even know what's going to be on that key set until we get it. We hope that there's a nice variety of images, but in some cases you may have a character with one image of a character for the whole product. That can happen. Many times it's not like that, but it's never perfect. Usually you're getting a pretty good array of images of different characters. But that's another part that hampers the attractiveness of some of the MCU products, is that we're releasing them 2 years late. But when you can't get started on a product until the film airs, or the streaming show has all the episodes aired, it's a scramble. I mean, typically our trading card products take a minimum of 12 months to get done. And that's with all the approvals, gathering the autographs, everything like that. And I wish we could get started, 7 months before the film airs. And back in the day, we actually did used to get script reads, but that's been suspended, and that's been suspended for many years. I think at least 5 years, we've not been able to have script reads. That allowed us to kind of get a handle on the storyline, get an understanding who the actors were, and start building earlier. So our products are late, so that hurts, right? The content for MCU stuff is also, I would say, and I know this is a crazy thought, I think it swims against the upstream for what collectors generally collect. And what I mean that is that typically, if you're a publishing collector, you're probably got a favorite character and you're probably collecting a character. Now, granted, set building is amongst the strongest set builders in our industry is Marvel collectors. They do set build, and sports very often does not. And we love set building, love it. It's a true reflection of how we wanted the product be presented. But nonetheless, we know character collecting is very, very popular. And that also extends to MCU. So if you've got a favorite actor or a favorite character in the MCU, you're probably going to collect them. And we've seen that very much with the Black Diamond kind of products, and or Allure, where people can go and collect a rainbow of chromium parallels of Tom Hiddleston or something like that. And they do that. And that's wonderful. And those products are built like that, literally to cater to character collectors, because they have so many films. You can cull from 100 different characters from 23 films and build a checklist that's structured very much like what I would call a sports product, how we do our hockey products. If you now go and you say, let's look at Loki, the most recent release, right? Okay. Loki has, amongst Loki season 1, there's probably no more than 8 characters with viable talking roles. They're beyond, one sentence all season. Maybe 8 characters. And that's pretty standard for films or TV shows of any type of film or TV show. You're about 8 characters deep.
It's a pretty narrow core. Yeah.
It is. And then sometimes of those 8 characters, 1 or 2 of them may be disallowed by Marvel licensing, saying, you can't do that character. We don't have the marketing rights. So that you lose a couple there. So we then go and try and pursue autographs for all those people, do the best we can. But the harder part is, how do you build a satisfying content based on just those 6 or 8 characters? And historically, forever, entertainment trading cards, all the way back to, I would say, when I was a kid with like Star Wars cards back in the late 70s and early 80s, it always basically told the story of the film. That was your base set. And even to this day, what we do, what Topps does, what Rittenhouse or Crypto does, their base sets typically, quote unquote, tell the story of the film or tell the story of the show in trading card format in 90 or 100 cards. You stick them in your binders and off you go, right? That is, to me, swimming upstream these days as to how people typically want to collect cards. They typically don't want to get great satisfaction in putting that set together. I look at What If, which was a super fun set to build. And we did that. We want to check the box of telling the story in trading card format. We wanted to do that. And we did it with the clear-cut chapters, acetate cards. And we did 81 of them. You'll love it because it's 9 episodes, 9 cards per episode. Yep. You can put them in your sheets and binders. That's exactly right, Ian. The cards are showing at the clear-cut chapters cards. And we loved doing those. There's no parallels of those, none at all, because to me, it's hard to justify why would somebody want 6 parallels of one of the cards you're holding? Because they're not character-based cards. They're storyline-based cards. So they typically don't acclimate well to parallel collecting. So we made it super premium. We made it an acetate card, 1 per pack. We could afford the acetate cards at 1 per pack because we weren't doing autographs.
They are bloody lovely.
And we made it an 81 card set. And still, if you look on eBay or the secondary market, that 81 card acetate set, which takes literally 6 boxes to make 1 set, you can get them for like $50-$60. It's just not, it should have been worth more. to me, it speaks of the fact that people aren't really buying What If to put that set together to relive the show in trading card format. They're buying it because it's got really cool 1990 Impel Marvel Universe designs and super
Or the
flashy,
hockey
gorgeous parallels
design,
and Black
or
Diamond
yeah.
relics and
Hmm.
metal cards of Ultron, also glow in the dark zombie cards and Jambalaya,
Well,
all that stuff. They're collecting it just like they are a
can I
sports
just say
product. Or
thank you for the Battle Spectrum making an appearance as a What If
hey,
parallel?
sure, sure,
They're
you're
they're
very welcome.
just
I'm glad you enjoy it.
they're just gorgeous, and they're
Yeah, they're
nice that they're
awesome.
not as thick as they're actually it's quite refreshing that they're not as thick as the stock, and they're
Yeah.
just stunning. I mean, I can't fault in terms of QA on the set. I can't fault it at all. I mean, I've only opened the one box, so I didn't hit every different type of card, but there's a fair breadth in a box. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a really good taste.
Well, that's a really fun product. You're getting like
Um,
4 numbered cards in a box. You're
it
getting
is
these huge
fun.
chase
Yeah,
cards in every third box.
they're lovely.
But that's a fun one. And I'm kind of rambling. Sorry, everyone. I ramble like crazy. Newsflash: Grant Sandground rambles a lot. Um, but getting back to the Loki scenario, we did, build a 90. I think it's a 90 card base set. I can't remember exactly. We built a 90 card base set. It tells the story of the show. It
Hmm.
parallels to like a yellow of 225 and an
Yep.
alligator skin of 25, which is pretty neat. The alligator skin's a cool card. But it's sort of like a kind of a tough sell at that point because you're opening all these cards and going, okay, well, I can put my 90 card base set
Yep.
together and I'll do that. I think a lot of people who are interested in the Loki show will do that. But if you're spending X amount of dollars on a whole case of this product or buying 3 boxes or 6 boxes looking for an autograph, it creates this huge feast or famine, high risk, high reward, or type of scenario over and
Mm.
over and over again because so much of our funding is going into making sure we can deliver to you autographs of Hiddleston and Owen
Yeah.
Wilson, or Sophia DiMartino, or Jonathan Majors, or all these huge, huge Hollywood
Richard E.
stars.
Grant. Thank you, by the way, for that. Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, Richard E. Grant. What a great name. What a
I
great
mean,
name.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those ones where you look at you look at the lineup and you're like, I love all those people. Richard E. Grant. I mean, it's with now, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
So it creates a tough situation where when you're opening a box of Loki, from the way I see it, people are opening the boxes, doing their prayer to the autograph gods that they get an autograph in their box. And if they didn't get an autograph in their box, then everything else is sort of like, oh, it's disappointing to me. I don't care about the metal cards. I don't care about the film cell cards, which I 100% agree with you. Yes, they are outdated, but it is unfortunately, this is a creation of having so many products bottlenecked in our system for so many years.
mm,
That when they finally get moving, you're like, oh my gosh, I wish we didn't have all these film cells, but we did these 2 years ago. It's like we've almost forgotten about there's film cell cards in Doctor Strange. I forgot about that. I'm like, I wish they weren't
yeah.
there.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I get it. We are 100% cognizant that collectors are sick of film cell cards. We are doing what we can to flush them out. In fact, by Hawkeye, you'll start seeing, instead of film cell cards, you'll see we've adjusted to acetate style insert cards. And we've got some really neat other acetate cards thematically for forthcoming MCU stuff that hasn't yet been announced and solicited, so I can't talk about it. But boy, is
cool.
there some fun
Okay.
stuff coming up.
I tell you what I do like, speaking of film sales, is that the free Disney Plus shows we're talking about, minus What If, obviously they've got the really thick film sale cards. And I love the fact that I think it was Eternals. I got a film sale and it was a thin acetate.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
It was like one of these Loki chapter
And
cards.
I like the thin ones better.
Yeah, I do as well. And I think they work better and they were actually numbered as well. I think I
Yeah.
got a Salma Hayek out of 25 and
Oh, that might have been
I
a
really dig
gold
it.
parallel. That
What's
might have
that,
been a
sorry?
gold parallel. I
Oh,
think
was
that might
it?
have been a parallel, a gold parallel. Yeah, because
Oh,
the other
okay.
ones are ratioed into multiple tiers.
Okay. Pass. It's such there's so many sets I can't keep it all. But I like that. And one thing I did notice with the when I say free MCU sets, I'm talking about WandaVision, I'm talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'm talking about Loki, because What If is kind of a different beast. When you look at those and then you compare them to Shang-Chi and Eternals, and maybe it's because they're movie products, but there's definitely a step up in terms of the card design, the breadth of stuff going on in the set. And is that kind of linked to the fact that they're movies? Do the movie sets get slightly more kind of budget? to them,
No,
or is it just a
well,
case of the
no,
timing of
that
them?
every product's budget is essentially based on how much product we produce. So if you have a huge film, like a Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or so, it was a
Yeah.
big MCU film, right? And it did very well. So we're gonna probably get more orders from our distributors for that type of product than we would for something like Hawkeye, let's say.
Mm.
Good show, did fine. Or let's say Falcon and Winter Soldier. That show didn't do that well on Disney Plus, and it's pretty old. And we're probably going to have smaller orders, so we'd have a smaller budget to build product with those. So yes,
Gotcha.
there may be differing senses in that sense, but no, I think you've got different product managers working on the different products, different designers working on different
Mm.
products.
Mm.
I know, for example, like Eternals, Billy Celio did Eternals. Billy's one of our most veteran product builders. He's going to have a pretty good handle on what he wants to see out of a product.
Yeah.
But our design teams, I think we've had some, even if you could go through some of the products you think, well, hey, may not have resonated as strongly with some of the designs. Like for example, with Loki, I think the autograph cards in Loki are designed
Oh,
beautifully.
the
I
autograph
love
cards are
all the
stunning.
autograph cards.
They're stunning. I mean, I was lucky enough to pull one.
Yeah,
One of the Hunter actresses, I think, and I love it. I really love it. And I like the
and we
design of them.
actually got Kate with each of these forthcoming products. We as a group learned a little more to we get something called style guides from Marvel.
Yeah.
If you're a licensee of Marvel, whether you're making T-shirts or trading cards or whatever it may be, you're all got access to these style guides, and
Yeah.
they would be like artistic examples of that the film or the TV show, and it'll show patterns, it'll show artwork, all sorts of weird stuff
Fonts,
like that.
palettes, all
And
that
we've
kind of thing. Yeah.
I've talked with my team about, and the design team as well. I don't oversee design, but I've talked with my product team about leaning into those style guides to find inspiration for the inserts,
Mm.
because and we're talking about it to this day, about like how to build a better MCU product. And we can get into that in a second, but I think part of the answer is to lean into these style guides, because they give
Yeah.
you beautiful designs and beautiful patterns and sometimes
Yeah.
beautiful art. And with Loki, for example, there's one of those. My favorite design is called Glorious Purpose.
Yes.
Glorious Purpose signatures. It's
Yes.
most of the autograph cards in there are vertically oriented. Typically, trading card collectors prefer vertically oriented cards versus horizontally. Not always, but most of the time. So we've tried to deliver more of the autographs in a vertical orientation.
Mm.
B, that Glorious Purpose design was inspired directly from beautiful artwork in Marvel's style guide for Loki. And our designers, our talented designers, took that and we sent them like, look at this, this, and this. Can you make a card that looks like this? And they knocked it out of the park and made what I think is the coolest looking, look like this weird looking Tron, cool looking card.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love them.
I love it, and I think we are starting to show some steps in the right direction to utilize what we have as best as possible to make trading cards that look attractive to our consumers.
Can I just want to touch a little bit on Eternals and Shang-Chi, and then we'll move over to the publishing ones that have come out so far this year. I was particularly, and I noticed this heavily on Eternals. Now, I know Eternals wasn't everyone's cup of tea as a film. I actually watched it again, having opened the box of the product that I got.
Yeah.
And it clicked for me second time. And so as a result, I've completely fallen in love with that product. What I love about it and Shang-Chi is that they really do lean into the style. In fact, I noticed it heavily with Shang-Chi, how it feels those products more than the free the free Disney Plus ones feel like an extension of that world, if you like. They feel like a tangible element.
Yeah, I think
to
that's
it,
a pretty good description, Ian.
Yeah, and especially with Eternals, whatever you may think of the film. Now, I guess I jotted this down earlier. How hard is it for your team to put together a set for Eternals when you're the main actress who's in most of the film? You're not allowed to use her image. Now, I imagine they don't give you anything with her image on for that reason.
Are you talking about Angelina Jolie?
I'm talking about Angelina Jolie, yes. Okay. Sorry, it would help if I mentioned that. And I noticed there's some quite clever elements. So I was looking at a card today because the black one of one parallel has popped up, and I'm watching it because it's still only at 99 cents bidding. So yes. Um, and it's a scene that's talking about Angelina Jolie, but the image that on the back of the card, but the image is of another character doing something to mitigate the fact that she's losing her mind. So it's quite interesting. So was it must be so difficult because obviously she is on the pack, albeit small because you've got that group shot. And I imagine there's certain circumstances you can't avoid it, but that must be maddening to have to put together a product when such a major part of the film is off limits.
Yeah, it's a huge challenge. And we would have taken a shot at trying to get her autographs if we were allowed to have done it, because I think that would have lit some rocket fire into the buzz
Mm,
on that product if we
mm,
had had Angelina Jolie autographs. We would have taken a shot. No guarantee we could have gotten her, but
mm.
yeah, sure, it's frustrating, but we're dealt the hand we're dealt, and we try
Yeah,
and do the best we can with the products. What else can you do? We try and make the best looking cards we
yeah.
can, and the designs. I love the designs for Eternals. I love all the circles,
I
the,
think they're
the
brilliant,
beautiful
beautiful.
the beautiful cerul the blues in there, those deep royal blues, and
Mm,
then the deco foiling. I think the autograph
mm.
cards came out great with the golds and the blues.
I think
There's a lot I liked about them.
The Unimind lenticulars are particularly good.
Yeah,
Hats
I
off
like
to
how
those. I
I like their.
think they work.
I'm an old baseball guy, so they remind me of 1953 Bowman Color, which is
Oh,
this trading card with nothing on the front but a photo. So it's almost like a pure card, and that's
oh
kind of
wow.
what those lenticulars remind me of. Very
Yeah,
rare
no,
that the
they're nice.
manufacturers produce trading cards with almost no elements at all except a photo on the card
Yeah.
front, and that's one of them.
No, it was really nice. It was really clean. I tell you what I'm doing just for fun on that, which you may know because you've listened to some of the podcasts. What I've chosen to do, because I don't have room to build all these sets. I don't have the storage room, and nor do I have the budget. So what I'm chosen to do is, yes, I'd love to own all these autographs, and I'm playing a long game on them. Eventually, I'll get them all. I might
Yep.
not be able to afford um, a Kit Harrington, but he wasn't in that film all that much. So, um, but I'm choosing elements. So with Eternals, I think I've chosen four images that are on the base cards that to me sum up the breadth and just the mad concept of that film. Because let's be honest with you, was it Kirby Eternals? Right?
Jack Kirby
Yeah,
created, wrote, and grew
yeah.
the Eternals.
I knew you'd know that because your encyclopedic knowledge.
Michael Ayre inked them.
Yeah. So it's quite a crazy concept, just the whole thing. And so you've got this giant being that makes like planets, the world forge and all this sort of stuff. So I've just
Arthur.
chosen four images that sum up the film, and one of them is the Mumbai scene where the guy's there in front of his troop.
Oh, the dancing,
Yeah,
the
because
Bollywood
where
scene.
else
Yeah.
do you get a card with that on, and then another card that's called Icarus in Space, and another card saying "I will return for judgment"? This giant thing that looks like a toilet roll with eyes on it. So
You
it's
know
just
what?
the craziest set of images.
One of my favorite images from that film was that giant concrete hand that popped out of like the North
Yes,
Pole.
yes,
It's so
yes,
cool.
and
And we
that's
made
the
a
other one I'm
lenticular
doing.
of it.
That's
We
the
made a
other one I'm
lenticular
doing.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other one I'm doing. It's called Palm of Tiamat.
Yeah.
And well, I think there's three versions of it, but the black hasn't popped up yet because I think they're just one of ones. Anyway, so I guess that's my way of saying, there is if you can lean into it and just enjoy them for what they are, there are elements of those you can do without having to get the whole story set,
Mhm.
without having to do all those parallels. You can just you can not character collect, but you can kind of scene collect. I guess,
Right.
I choose a moment that sums up that film. And for me, that allows me to have a taster of all those movies in a much,
Mm.
much smaller binder. Um, so let's talk about the um, publishing sets. Sorry, the word
Before,
escaped me
can
for a
I
minute.
add one quick note on Shang-Chi?
No,
It's
please,
really
please.
interesting that the base set of Shang-Chi cards could arguably be some of the prettiest MCU film base set cards we've made, because
Yeah.
we featured a technology called Light FX, which is
Mm,
the entire card, kind of like Thor Ragnarok. The base
yes.
cards had that sort of silvery, sparkling foil board
Mm,
to it. We managed to do that because we cut the set size in half to 50 cards. Which is not great to not do 100, but when you don't have a lot of images to use, sometimes you can do that. Sometimes you have to do that. But it also allowed us to save enough money to actually print them on Light FX and make
yeah.
these beautiful base set cards. Typically,
Yeah.
we don't do it, but that was a neat anomaly to the rule.
I have to say, I don't mind that. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter if the story is told in 50 cards or 100 cards. I mean, obviously, there's a certain amount you can do if it's a long film or a difficult story in 50
Yeah.
cards versus 100. But I think that actually added extra oomph to that product. I think by
Yeah.
doing
You
that.
know, I was thinking about the size of base sets and entertainment products. And when I was a kid collecting Star Wars cards, I think
Oh,
the
it's
old
ridiculous.
Star Wars sets only had 66 cards in each series.
Yeah, they did. But then the series, they did multiple series for each film. I
They
mean, what was
did,
it? The
but I mean,
first
they
one had
spread them
five, I think.
out
But
they
yeah,
spread them out
yeah.
like by years at a time
And then
for
you had
members.
those letter sticker ones that didn't actually spell anything, no matter how
Yeah.
many you collected. Let's not get started on those. So moving on to the publishing ones. Fleer Ultra Avengers, original art, thick stock. Um, I want to talk about the elephant in the room. Why the stripes design on Fleer Ultra
Oh,
Avengers?
oh yeah.
Because it was massively divisive for folks. So I think people have kind of gotten used to it.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, it is a little shocking at first, but after you get through it, I don't think it takes too much away from the art. That actually was an idea all the way back dating to Matt Rogers' time here at Upper Deck.
okay,
He was the one that wanted this sort of like Wolverine scratched claws effect going on the side of the card deco foil, basically to give that set a unique foiling treatment that
mm,
might not have been done in other Ultra sets. It was to give
mm,
it
mm,
some level of uniqueness, basically.
mm, mm. Well, it certainly hit the mark on that. Um, the what I love the most about that set. I mean, there's a number of elements in it. The medallions. Now, am I right in thinking those medallions came from the sports side? Is it a
They
sports
were,
design?
yeah, they were. I think the inspiration with sports guys like me kind of showed Matt, like, hey, take a look at 1995 Fleer Ultra Medallion Baseball. Those are awesome cards. They're like
Mm,
100% covered in gold deco foil. They look like these embossed coins in the background. It's very much driven from that. And I think they came out great. I think we used some
mm,
newer technology printing them. And I love all the tinted colored parallels. And
yeah,
unbeknownst to us, they really resonated with collectors. I think people are collecting the rainbow of their characters, perhaps.
absolutely.
Um, and they can get into some staggering values that we thought they're way higher than we expected them to be.
Yeah, they are. Everything's connectivity back to What If, because of course they're in What If as well.
Oh yeah, we put them in there too. We didn't do the full rainbow of them. I think we just did the ultraviolet medallions, which were really
Yeah,
tough and beautiful.
but again, can I say, much as I love the thick stock in some cases, but the thin stock medallions, they really work. They
Yeah,
just,
I think really the thick stock thing is more of a branding thing
yeah,
in
I
Ultra.
think definitely, yeah, definitely. So with Ultra, what was there an element of it that you were really like, I'm really pleased that absolutely landed. We nailed it. We completely stuck that landing.
Oh boy, I got to jog my memory on Ultra Avengers
Because it's
because
a while
my head
back.
is
I mean, the last
jumbling
time
with
you were on, I think you were
500
previewing it.
cards. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I really love the 16 piece comic puzzle achievements on EPAC.
Uh-huh.
We got like an Avengers 1 in there.
Yeah,
We got an Avengers 4, which is the first Captain America
that's
Silver
right.
Age.
Hmm.
We got all the big covers. We just crushed it on the covers. I
Mm.
love that. That was really fun to see. I think we got an Avengers 57 in there with the first Vision.
Yes.
That was super fun to see
You had first Black Knight, you had
get
all those.
done,
Mm.
after sourcing all these books and all this hand wringing to make sure they come out okay, that they did come out nice and
Mm.
really resonated with the EPAC community that could get those for achievements. That was really cool. We just talked about the medallions. They came out great. I loved
Yeah.
how bright and colorful they all were. The art chosen for them was really, really nice. Um,
The golden
I like
patterns
the
as well.
chess pieces. I thought the chess pieces were super funky. Really fun way to collect a set. I love when you can have like a weird way of providing a checklist that is completely understandable to if you say, hey, it's based on chess pieces. I get it. Okay, there's two
Yeah.
rooks, two knights, two bishops. I get
Yeah.
it. There's a villain, there's a hero. I love that collecting, that we can take something way outside of the world of card collecting and then put it into a set collecting challenge for people to do. And then we had hard signed versions of those, was really cool. Of course, all the hard sign cards having the beautiful artwork in the base set, and then having the artists hard sign those cards. I think we numbered them to 63, so they were
yes.
relatively attainable. But they still sold for like 100 to 150 bucks a piece, or 75 to 150 bucks a piece. Great value, great content delivery, great art. Those are some of the high points for me for Ultra.
Yeah. Can I say another high point? And I'm gonna excuse me. This spreads across a lot of the products that have come out this year so far. Is the blasters? Can I just say thank you for the blasters? I think they're such a great idea.
Yeah, we really wanted to
fun.
make sure we could deliver a blaster SKU in this product, because the hobby boxes are not cheap, and we knew they were not going to be. They weren't built as cheap boxes. As you noted, every card is thick. It's an original art product. It's not a super premium like masterpieces, but it's a premium product for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, boxes are, I think, about 250 bucks a piece or so, and I can't remember exactly where they're at. I think they're around there right now. But the blasters gave a chance for everybody to kind of, get some cards and have the joy of opening packs and enjoy the product without having to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. No, I love that, because I was able to open them with my kid as well. So, and she promptly
when we can do
blasters.
When we can do blaster SKUs, we do when it makes sense. And we've got to have the interest of the retail buyers to do it. You know? So we can't say, hey, we're going to do it all the time. But when we can do them and it makes sense, we do them.
And beginnings. We haven't talked. Have we got beginnings on this list? It is on this list. Okay, it is on this list.
Yeah.
So let's. Beginnings is obviously not original art. I don't think there is any original art in that for the most part.
You're correct.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Massive set. It's still kind of breaking, and I think the unfortunate thing about beginnings, and I would say the same about Allure, really, in that because stuff has arrived so quickly, it's kind of they didn't have their full moment to bloom, if you like, because then all of a sudden there's something else come out, and then Masterpieces just blew. Masterpieces unfortunately blew beginnings away, and I think What If got swallowed in a little bit of Masterpieces weight.
100% agree. I 100% agree with you, and we see that on the sports side too.
But beginnings, I thought it was fun when I opened it. But again, you've got blasters with that, with some really interesting parallels. That kind of rainbow, kind of ruby colored. I can't remember what it's called now, but the blaster exclusive for beginnings. It's now. Am I right in thinking from what I read that beginnings might be doing Pack Wars when it hits EPAC?
Oh gosh. Maybe. I can't remember. I know obviously it's slated to come out on EPAC in the future, probably coming in a few months.
Okay.
But Ian, you just caught me with one of the things I didn't prepare for. Was
no, that's right. That's right.
EPAC upcoming stuff.
I have a feeling. In fact, I'm going to say yes, because learned people more learned than me that actually read these things and memorize them tell me that there is something on the checklist that alludes to the fact that it's a Pack Wars exclusive. No, the odds. That's it. The odds talk about Pack Wars.
Okay. All right. Then
that's always the giveaway. That's always the giveaway. So I think it's a fab that something as big as beginnings is going into Pack Wars.
I just pulled up a file. Yes, I can confirm that beginnings will have Pack Wars.
Yeah, because it just really leans into the scale of the set and the fun of it. So beginnings. What's obviously you've got another two. You're going to do 3 of them?
There are 3 of them slated to come out in the next 6 to 9 months or so, 6 to 12 months. I'm not sure in the near future. It's built as an affordable product. Now, it didn't initially come out as an affordable product. We don't control SRPs and how boxes are priced online and boxes are priced at shops. We can't really control that, but it was supposed to be like a Marvel Annual level style product.
Yeah.
And I think it came out a lot higher than that. And that created some discontent amongst people breaking boxes early that they didn't feel the value lined up with what they were spending on boxes. There's a reason for that, because we didn't build the boxes with that kind of value in mind.
Yeah.
Nor did we have the budget to do so. I think prices have since kind of simmered down on them,
Yes.
and probably represents a better experience now. Because it's supposed to be a set builder set. You're supposed to collect the 540 cards. You get some deep cut characters in there. Some of the highlights we talked about, oh my gosh, the last time I was on the show 100 years ago.
The autograph
I
cards.
still love like the comic clippings booklets we did, where there's 5 numbered copies per, and there's clippings from like Amazing Fantasy 15 for a Spider-Man booklet, and it has, you know, pieces from all of the key artists or all the key issues that represented the lineage. I think that's what they were called, lineage booklets. That's right.
That's right.
That represented the lineage of the character, and they're numbered to 5. I've only seen a couple pop up.
I haven't seen many at all. Haven't seen many at all.
No,
yet.
and I'm chomping at the bit for this to hit EPAC, because I think it'll get hit pretty well on EPAC. I think it's going to do pretty well on EPAC, and I think it'll unearth some of these really cool cards, including the one thing I haven't seen enough of is the Mega Splash Jumbos. That's a whole new concept card where it's an interior full panel of art that we framed and put into an oversized trading card. And
I've not seen any of those. I don't think
we took page 1 from Amazing Fantasy 15, the very first page of Spider-Man, and made a card out of that thing. And it's yet to surface. It drives me insane.
I mean, surely it will. I think beginning. I mean, the other thing about beginnings is that, like I said, because of Masterpieces hitting, I just think it hasn't, even as a physical product, it hasn't matured. I think there's still a lot of stock still there for people to buy. People are digging into the blasters. I've seen lots of posts on the group where people have been going and, you know, using the blasters as an affordable way to build the set and put the set together. And they're also doing the hobby boxes, because obviously there's different elements in each. What particularly attracts me about the set is the creator autographs. I think they look beautiful.
Those are super cool.
Beautiful.
Ian, that touches upon our discussion on the Loki autographs. You'll notice the visual structure of the Creator Gallery signatures in Marvel Beginnings. They're vertically oriented cards where all the key elements are running right down the middle of the card. Yes. And they're presented as if it's an autograph almost from the character, not from the creator.
Yes.
And they are selling for a lot more money because we're doing it that way. If you go back and look at creator signatures from what we were doing 5 years ago, we would have done maybe a cover of a comic book signed with no image of the creator.
Right.
These ones are different. We presented them as if, like, here's a Carnage autograph, is kind of what we presented. Here's a Spider-Man autograph.
Yeah.
And it kind of looks like an autograph as if that character signed a trading card for you.
Yeah.
And I think that literally made them more popular and made them sell for more money. And that was because of the way they were designed, the way we asked for them to be presented.
Yeah. No, I think they're gorgeous. I mean, haven't had an opportunity to pick it up yet. I didn't pull one, but there's certainly some great. I mean, Peter David's in it. I mean, so, you know, I'll be acquiring that at some point. I think it's Spider-Man 2099, if I remember correctly. And it's just, you know, it's a stunning image. And obviously with Spider-Man 2099 being such a major part of the second Spider-Verse movie, it's kind of a no-brainer for people, I think.
Yeah, that's a really fun set to build. That Creator Gallery set in Beginnings is sort of like a hidden gem of a set. Like, people are always, you know, looking for new fun things to focus their collections on, or, you know, that one's sort of a really cool sleeper set to build.
And actually, while you're talking about sleeper sets to build, a tip of the hat, if I may, to the forged vibranium in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Those are cool. Yeah, with the arm,
cool.
the metal arm of the Winter Soldier
and the shield
on the
other
side.
Yeah.
That was our designers knocked it out of the park on that one.
Yeah, well, I'm a sucker for a metal card because you do the printing on them so vibrantly. And I've got some for what's the set? There was a recent set. I'm not thinking of Masterpieces. There was another set with them in recently, and they're just
is it What If with the
stunning.
Ultron cards?
No, I don't have any of those. There's something else. It's gone.
Well, there's
anyway.
Loki Tempad medals, and
there's something. Anyway,
it'll come to you.
It's my age, dear. But there are elements within these sets. That's what I mean. If you, I think there's a way to approach it where, okay, yes, the autographs are there, and yes, I'll get them eventually, but there's still other stuff you can enjoy. And I think that's kind of that's been my focus this year is just finding the joy in each of the
Yeah.
products. Just whatever works for you. And for me in Fleer Ultra Avengers, it's that 9 card Tom Fleming
Oh,
piece
I think
on
the
the
three by
rainbow
threes.
foil. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
on the
Three by
rainbow
threes.
foil. I mean,
Yeah.
when you guys do rainbow foil on fixed dock, it's home run as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
It
Right.
just works. Um, One of the things I noticed with some of these newer products is the sketches and some of the hits are in penny sleeves now in the packs.
Okay.
They are. Trust me on this. I got an
I believe you.
acetate.
I believe
I got
you.
an
Okay.
acetate from Beginnings, and that was in a penny sleeve. It
Oh,
was
I
a
think that's because the
Professor
pack
X.
out vendor wanted to take precautions to make sure they wouldn't
Mm,
scratch when
yeah.
packed out.
And I think
That's
that I
not
think.
consistent with every pack out vendor.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What's a pack out vendor for those who might not know?
A pack out vendor is a partner that we do business with. They're in the business of packing out products and typically specializing in trading card products. So
Okay.
they're the ones that are going to print the cards, cut the cards down from the uncut sheets,
Okay.
randomize and collate them.
So they do the
Uh,
printing as well.
Typically,
Okay.
oftentimes, but sometimes you'll have specialty cards made from specialty vendors that don't do packouts. They'll print the cards, then send them to the packout vendor,
I'm with
who
you.
then has to
Okay.
collate everything together. So there's a lot of, as you might imagine, this is not a simple process. Packing out a product is incredibly complex, unbelievably complex. What we do is so hard. It's so hard, and there's so many ways to make mistakes. But
Not for the faint of heart.
it is not for the faint of heart. But pack out vendors, we don't print our own cards and pack out our own cards. We
Yeah.
we hire companies, and there's companies in America, there's companies internationally that do it, and we have different vendors that we will use to get the products out the door.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's good. That's good because obviously it's an expression you use, and I realize for some people they might be like, "Oh, I'm going to pause that. Why didn't he ask what a pack out vendor was?" Um, let's talk about masterpieces. Wow, that one came out of nowhere because we were
Okay.
waiting for it and waiting for it, and then all of a sudden it's coming, and then all of a sudden it's here, and it's like, and everyone went absolutely nuts. Um, so what can you tell us about the process of getting masterpieces out? Because obviously it's branded as 2022, so I'm
Yeah.
guessing there's some delays there, and I don't know the technical nature of how the printing works on masterpieces versus the beginnings versus a Flea Ultra Avengers, and how that works. So, talk to me a little bit about masterpieces and the challenges and what your approach was, because obviously it's a bigger product this time around.
It is, yeah. And this one's a little bit different than the prior one, of which is a little different than the prior one,
Yeah.
because each time the demand for the product has grown exponentially for the number of people that want boxes.
Mm.
So when you go back to 2016, there was a very small amount of people that cared about that product. And when we went to 2018, then 2020, it just goes bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, trying to honor the original intent of what people experienced in 2016, with trying to deliver enough product to a larger audience, where if we had made the same amount of product we did for this Dan Dos Santos product as we did for the Joe Jusko in 2016, boxes would be like $8,000 a piece upon release, because there'd be no boxes.
Mm.
People would be getting fistfights trying to get one box. There just wouldn't be anywhere near enough. So you have to make some concessions in content and say, okay, well, we can't just do every single card serial numbered anymore, or something like that. Or we got to raise the print run from a $9.99 to a $14.99, or wherever it may be. You're
Yeah.
trying to find a common ground that still honors and respects the integrity and the thought pattern of what was masterpieces. Why did we build it? Why did we make it in the first place? Why were the
Yeah.
cards thick? Why were they numbered? All that kind of stuff. Why was it one artist? We're still trying to honor all that as best we can, while trying to then make more product to make sure people can experience it without going crazy. And even with that stated, the boxes still went crazy. Ian,
Mm.
$900 a box or
Can I
something.
can
It's
I just say,
crazy.
having lived through on the side of the fence of having the group and the podcast free masterpieces releases now, they all go crazy. They all set people's heads on fire for whatever
Right.
reason. It's just something about masterpieces, and
Yeah.
each time there's a different element that stokes that fire.
Yeah.
Um,
I
and
would
this
say I
time
would
around,
say
it's no
part
different.
of it is because I think that original art is such an important
Yes.
asset or factor in publishing product. That's a huge factor. And in people's minds, masterpieces represents the top of the mountain for the best original art. And it's sort of like a lifetime statement from that artist. I mean, they go
Yes.
through, I would imagine, quite an arduous creation process of multiple years
Oh,
every day for 12 hours. I mean, I
Dan
remember
has
listening to
talked
the Joe
about it.
Jusko
Yes.
interview
Yeah.
that you did with Joe
Yeah.
within the past year. It was a great interview. And he told such vibrant stories about how he just killed himself to get some of this art done for the
Mm.
original 92 set, I think, all the way back
Yeah.
then. And I'm sure he
I
probably went through a
believe Dan
similar process.
DeSantis did similar over a longer
Yeah,
period of time. So,
yeah, I'm sure they're all like
mm,
going back to their college days of pulling all nighters and
yeah.
painting all night or
Yeah.
trying to do what they can. And even with that stated, it's incredibly rare that the artist will hit the deadlines that we've sort of contractually agreed upon to do. And what are you supposed to do? You got to get the art. So the
Mm,
product
mm.
gets delayed, and you wait, and that's part of why it's late. Another part of it, why it's late. I don't want to say anything bad about Dan. He might have got all the art in on time. I'm not sure. I don't deal with the
Yeah.
contracting of art, but it
I
was
think
also
he
caught up in our
did, but
process of
yeah,
trying to get
I
products
think it was more
out.
the process on this one, from what I
Yeah,
understand.
I think it was
So,
more so,
yeah.
part of just got caught up in a jumble of late Marvel products that we had to balance with our hockey
Mm,
products and Goodwin Champions with all the vendors. They can't just do everything at once. They've got to go through all the different products. So it comes out when it comes out. Dos Santos knocked it out of the park. The art is just every bit standing up to the standards,
100%.
the elevated
100%.
standards that
Yeah, yeah.
collectors expect of this brand. I think Dan did that and maybe exceeded that in many cases. With some of the art being so good that that kind of what
Uh,
creates part of the magic of masterpieces.
I mean, they're stunning. I mean, I've got some in hand here, and they're just. Yeah, I'm not going to deep dive into each piece because we'd be here all day, and we've also already done that. But listen, I mean, if you're putting my girl on the box and the wrappers, then
Yeah,
you know clearly I'm
yeah.
going to
Game
be.
on, Ian. Game on.
Yeah,
That
thanks for
is.
that. Um,
Yeah.
the so there's obviously some different elements in this. You've got more different coloured canvas gallery, sorry, including of 10 green ones.
Yep.
Then you've got the Emerald of 25 on the base set. Metallurgy, which follows the full 1 to 90 now, I believe. And I
Yep.
think Preliminary does that as well. Um,
Correct.
and a little bit of a change, not too much of a change in the core numbering outside of that, but two different versions of the base olive oils, the speckles and the small dots, and then the numbered versions of those. So what was I'm guessing you have to be cognizant of the fact that you want to stay true to it being a masterpieces product without watering it down too much, but you still want to increase the print run.
Right.
So was there anything that you this is difficult because you might be saving this for the next time around, but is there anything you were thinking of doing that you chose not to do that you can remember?
No, but I did want to mention the plexi cards we added, the amber
Yes.
cards that we added into the product. And I know that they've been met in a polarizing fashion, although I
Hmm.
think some people have gotten, licked their wounds and moved on and kind of come to terms with the cards. But the fact of the matter is when you're making more boxes, you need more low numbered hits. You
Mm,
need more 101s, more 15s and fives and all that crazy stuff. And
mm.
you're limited with the amount of art. There's only about
Yeah.
135 pieces of art. That's it. There is
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
more. So you cannot expand beyond that and say, let's just pull in library art. You can't do that. I'm not going to do that in masterpieces. So
Not for
you've got to
masterpieces, no.
get creative with the limitation of the 135 pieces of art that you have. And putting it on Plexi, we thought was a cool way to kind of
Mm,
show it in a new light.
yeah.
And some people dug it, some people didn't.
Yeah.
I think they were okay. I don't think they were a flop. I don't think they were a failure. I think they valued out fine. But you've got to There are
Yeah.
limitations with
Yeah.
what you can do with it because we are committed to just featuring the art of Dan Dos Santos in that
Yeah, of
product, or
course.
just whoever the artist is.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't got one yet. Because next time you want to bring in another parallel, just make sure Black Cat isn't in the set. Thanks. But on that, actually, can I talk about there was apparently maybe a late change. I'm not sure if it was a late change, but some of the art that was initially put out as being in the holofoils was then removed and was put in repeated art from the base cards. Can you tell us
Hmm.
anything about that?
I cannot. I'm
No.
sorry. I'm not familiar with all that.
Oh, okay. No, there were some characters that were initially on the initial checklist that came out, and the pieces, some of the pieces are in the set because they're in the Mirages. So Howard the
Okay.
Duck is a prime example, and he was originally scheduled to be on one of the holofoils. And then when the product came out a couple of weeks later, the checklist was updated, and people were
Well, a character
pulling
like
stuff that
Howard the
was
Duck,
confused.
might have come into licensor approval issues. I think Howard cannot be pictured holding a martini glass or smoking a
Oh,
cigar.
okay.
That character is often doing those things.
Yeah,
Maybe the imagery might have
that was
had some
just
of
an
that stuff.
example. I
I
thought
can't remember.
there were a handful. There's maybe up to 10 of the holofoils ended up being repeated art from the base cards.
It might have been adjustments that the coordinator.
Yeah.
We have positions called coordinators that build our checklists. They might have had to have made some late changes in the product structure due
Mm.
to licensor requirements.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's just hypothetical. I don't
Yeah.
delve that deeply into it.
No, there was a lot of because it's masterpieces. Everyone's focusing on every detail in a hyper
Mhm.
focused way,
Right.
including people that have connections with Dan DeSantis. So I wanted to bring it up because there's speculation that maybe they're going to be coming as an EPAC achievement of some kind. That
No,
those pieces of art will eventually make it into the product because, like I said, some of them are in the Mirages. But
I would leave that to the world of speculation.
okay, all right, fair enough. Asked and answered. Um, and on masterpieces, there were some green emerald parallels, and some of them ain't green. They're numbered, but they turned
Yeah,
out silver.
those are regular. You're right.
Yeah,
That was a pack out, a print vendor's print mistake, basically,
yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
they are. I think they're standard gold facsimile cards, the ratioed gold facsimile signature
Okay.
stick cards that erroneously had green foiled numbering on the back of the cards.
Oh wow. Okay. Interesting.
So
All right.
that's what they are. They're like weird, erroneous variants of green of gold
Yeah.
foil facsimiles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They should never
We've
have
seen
had
some
stamping
interesting
like
ones.
that.
Yeah, we've seen some
Yep, that's a
interesting ones.
mistake. You know what? Human beings work at these pack out vendors and these print vendors, and
Hang on.
human beings make mistakes.
You're not allowed to employ humans. You must have robots working for you.
Right, exactly.
Um, but listen, I mean, it. I love the product. You know, those quibbles. If I'd spoken to you and not raised those couple of bits, I would have had angry missives, I'm sure. But I love. I mean, I love it. It's just. I mean, you know, you,
Yeah,
you work
it's a
with
great
it, you've
looking
seen
card.
it. But yeah, stunning. So, you know, I'm slowly building it and I will be enjoying building it. Um, you might not be able to tell me this, but let me ask it in a different way. Do you think it's likely that we'll see Masterpieces 2022, 23 on EPAC before the end of this year?
Oh, oh boy,
Because that's the other big
I
question. People are going, well,
I
when's it
would
coming to
say
EPAC?
I would say it's within the next. I mean, we're recording in late September. We're a
Yeah,
week away from October, basically.
yeah, 22nd.
So there's not much of the year left. There's only 3 months left.
Yeah.
My guess is that it probably wouldn't hit within those 3 months because there's other products that you've seen already released in front of masterpieces
Hmm.
that still are going to get their own EPAC SKUs done,
Mm.
uploaded.
Yeah. Okay. So more likely early 2024.
I think so. Let me see
Yeah.
if I can open yet another spreadsheet. Ian, you're killing me with the spreadsheets.
I love a spreadsheet. I spend every day working with them. I'm sure you do too. Um, yeah, because of course we've got beginning still to hit EPAC. Annual is hitting as we speak.
Oh,
The
that one,
email.
yeah, should be any day now.
Yeah.
Should be
Well,
any
no,
day
it's
now.
tomorrow morning.
Oh, there you go.
It's tomorrow morning. The email went out 3 hours ago, um, saying that it's hitting 9 a.m. PST on a Saturday. On a Saturday. You're trying to kill us. But yeah, so annual's hitting tomorrow. And of course that one, that's not even on our list for this year. Did that come out late 2022?
That did come out in
Yeah,
2022. That's correct.
yeah, that's right. So there's clearly, there's
Yeah,
clearly
Marvel
some.
Annual tomorrow. You're right. Uh, Marvel Beginnings Volume 2 should be sometime in November, hopefully.
Okay,
Hopefully in November for Beginnings
cool.
Volume 2 on EPAC. And then Allure would be up next sometime in December on EPAC.
Oh,
Thereafter, it would be What If. Um, so you got stuff in front of
yeah,
Masterpieces. After that would be Masterpieces. So
yeah. Okay,
Masterpieces would be fourth in line in front of those other three. So
okay.
you're
This
probably
is
looking at the winter, early months of 2024.
Okay, this is good to know because people are often champing at the bit with that, and it also helps them plan a little bit budget wise. They can spend a little bit more on Timmy's Christmas present, knowing that they've got their January paycheck to throw at masterpieces. So that's good.
Yep, you got to keep Timmy happy.
Yeah, you got to keep Timmy happy. Yeah, Timmy. Um, so fine, we've danced around What If. I kind of feel like What If has tendrils in past and present, in just about every aspect to it.
Mm.
And I've watched the Twitch that you did with Billy, where you were talking
Oh yeah,
about it.
yeah.
And
I was
it's
incredibly uncomfortable on camera because I didn't know to stare if I should stare directly at the camera non-stop or I should move my eyes away. So I opted for option one, which was terrible because I turned into like this staring zombie. But
no, 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 it's
nonetheless,
good. You know what I took away from it because having obviously spoken to you on camera a couple of times now, I took it that you were just really excited to talk about it and you were waiting for Billy to shut up. But no, that I mean, listen, I mean, you've hit all the sweet spots. You've got your Marvel Universe 1990, and this is actually a parallel of that, a dimensions parallel of that. You've got your medallions. You've got your acetate 9 by 9, so that's 81 cards. You've got holograms in here. You've got the hockey style parallel. You've got the black diamond. Don't even get me started on that. I'm still chasing the original one.
yeah.
You've
Like we
got
talked about the ultra medallions. We've
oh,
got the
it's
plexi cards.
yeah.
There's plexi cards
There's
there. We've got the
lenticulars in
metal
there.
cards. There's glow in the
Um,
dark
that
cards, lenticulars. There's holograms.
there's
We
so
threw
many.
everything in
Yeah,
the kitchen sink in
I
there,
mean you
and we
did,
were able to do it because we didn't have any money budgeted for autographs and sketches.
and
So
I get the feeling that
and the theming of it is it's literally like what if. So it was
exactly. Yeah,
perfect to
you could
say,
lean into it. You could just
yeah,
have
like
fun.
what if this set was done with the 90 Marvel Universe Impel stuff, or what
Oh,
if it looked like the hockey product from the year the show aired in 2021
yes.
with the 2021 hockey, like what if it was that design? What if anything? What if Black Diamond expanded the checklist to
Oh,
include these cartoon characters?
what if?
So why not do that? And it allowed us a total. And the other thing with What If, Ian, is that each episode was its own storyline. So, like what we talked about earlier, yeah, that's the
That's the hockey
Ian is
design.
showing the
Yeah,
2021-22 Upper Deck flagship hockey design.
I love it.
And what's cool about the content and how it can relate to an interesting product build is each of the 9 episodes from What If was its own storyline.
Yes.
And each episode had anywhere from 5 to 25 notable characters. So what I talked about earlier when we built Black Diamond, or we built Allure, and that was based on 23 films from the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you had 150 characters you can make a checklist with, and you can build it like a sports style product
Yeah.
with character-based parallels. We could do the same thing here with What If, and we did. So that Impel Marvel Universe design, that's a character-based checklist. The only set that is a storyline checklist is the one we talked about, the acetate chapters
Yeah.
with 81 cards there. And
Yeah.
everything else it allowed us to do was build chase cards that are character cards. And people
Yeah.
love it,
No,
which
people are
didn't
loving it.
surprise me
Yeah.
that if we could do glow in the dark zombie Iron Man and Jambalaya Captain Americas, that people are going to think those are cool.
Of course, I've forgotten
Because
about the jambalayas. Yes. Yes. Okay. No, it is. I have to say, I think it is the. I mean, listen, I don't want to preempt my kind of the podcast set of the year, And there might need to be more categories this year because, my goodness, there's been so much product. But What If is a definite shoo-in.
You know, it's funny, Ian. It's one of those products a little near and dear to my heart. I typically don't build products from the soup and nuts up, but I jumped on that one because we were told by the licensor, no autos, no mem. I'm like, I'll take that challenge on. Let me try and build it. And I usually don't.
But it's interesting.
It was fun to do it.
You can tell you put the funds into the different techniques, the different printing methods.
For sure. And
materials.
I think our design team did such a fantastic job with, and the printers did a fantastic job with bringing those cards to life. But the funny thing is, it came out only about 13 days after Masterpieces, which is this 800-pound gorilla screaming to the mountaintops, overshadowing everything around it. Beginnings before it, What If after, and I still think it did overshadow What If. I was a radio, TV, film major in college, and I liken What If to like an indie darling film. Like nobody sees it, but the few people that do see it was like, it's a great movie, but nobody saw it.
It's going to be the Shawshank Redemption. In 10 years' time, it's going to be regarded as a classic. It's going to be that. Maybe. It's going to have that sort of legs, I reckon.
I hope people are having fun with it. It's a fun one to collect. It's a fun one to break a box. It's a fun one to break a case.
It is fun. It was a lot of fun.
But it definitely was like an indie darling in my mind.
It's good. I believe there's a What If Series 2 on the horizon. I
hope so.
I know you didn't have autos in this set, and I know that wasn't part of the design of it. Right. But what I wouldn't give for a Jeffrey Wright signed Watcher.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
I know you had him for the James Bond product, and he's not shy about signing. Apparently, he's a lovely guy. Anyway, so let's look ahead, shall we? Because we've been looking back so much. I've got a crick in my neck. There's loads here, Grant. I'm kind of going to let you drive. I'm just cognizant of the fact that you probably, I know what you're like when you get going, and you'll probably have so many details about all of these sets. Ian,
do you have an air horn you can just like honk at me when I talk too much?
I can probably find one. Yes.
Or just mute me and just.
No, I'd never do that. So let's start on the cinematic streaming, because I want to save what I think is among the best for last, because I saw the artwork for this just before we started recording, and it's going to blow people's minds. But let's do the MCU one. So you've got how many products you got on here? You got 5.
So can we frame what we're going to talk about here? Like, we're basically talking about stuff being released in the months of September through roughly, let's say, winter of 2024, February-ish.
February, you got February on here.
So we're talking about 6 months of stuff. And amongst of those 6 months, we've got 11 products. So it is about one every 2 weeks. It's a lot. It's still a lot. So I am sorry that it's still a lot, but hopefully there's some cool stuff in there. And again, pick and choose what you like and enjoy what you like, So as those 11 products there, they break down into 6 Marvel Publishing and 5 MCU. So I think with that.
No, I'm just going to interrupt you there. I've just noticed that Loki's just come out. So that's one of those 5.
We talked about Loki already. So it'll be 4 MCU then.
And Allegiance has just dropped this week, 2 days ago.
It is, but I'd like to chat about Allegiance
definitely talk about it. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Allegiance a little bit later when we get into publishing. Let's talk about, excluding Loki, we already talked about that. There's 4 more publishing products coming out in the next 6 or so months.
I'm really excited about all of these.
Oh, me too. The first one I think is going to be a big one. It's Spider-Man No Way Home. And you talked about earlier in this show, hey, does a big cinematic release get better designs than a smaller streaming show or something like that we were talking about, or get more attention or whatever it may be? I don't think there's a bigger film than No Way Home. I think it broke like box office records at the time and did crazy. I think everybody loved that movie. You'd have to be quite a curmudgeon to say that was not a very good film. Everybody loved the movie. And it was a Herculean film for us to approach. And there's several reasons why. Let me touch upon why. It's not a Marvel Studios film per se. It's a Sony film. And it's in association with Marvel Studios, but it's Sony owns the cinematic rights to Spider-Man, right? And that creates another hurdle for us in communicating with licensors and getting approvals.
Okay.
And typically it results in like what I referenced earlier is the key sets, which is the variety of images that get approved and delivered to us by the licensor. It sometimes can be a little smaller if you're going through a Sony film than an MCU film. Just because you're going through two different groups of showrunners and creators and producers and lawyers, lots of lawyers and all sorts of stuff like that. So that's one hurdle. The next hurdle is we're not exactly talking about small actors to try and go get autograph deals from. You're dealing with Tom Holland.
Yeah.
You're dealing with Zendaya. Good luck with that one. Benedict Cumberbatch. These are huge names. Willem Dafoe, gigantic names. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. All these names, all I see is dollar signs going through my head going, oh my gosh, that's incredibly difficult. And we didn't get all those people. There's no way we're going to, but we got a heck of a lot of good names in here. I'm so excited to talk about the lineup of signers, including some really interesting first-time signers, because I know with our MCU collectors, what they really want, they want big names, but they also want big new names, and they're ravenously hungry, always show us a show-stopping big new name. That's a difficult, tall task to consistently deliver. Cough, cough, Owen Wilson. But nonetheless, with Spider-Man No Way Home, I think we did a pretty good job. We actually got 9 signers. For us, that's pretty deep. That's deep.
Yeah.
9 different signers. And keep in mind that budget has got to stretch to cover deals for all of them. So if you're trying to make sure you got Tom Holland in there, well, that's not cheap. He's not cheap, So it's hard to get everybody you would want. I mean, Jamie Foxx is in there, right? I forgot about him.
Alfred Molina.
There's so many big names.
Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. There's so many big names, and some of them may not be a huge name, but some of them they just don't want to sign. I think J.K. Simmons was like just didn't want to do it. I know he signed a long time ago for I think Rittenhouse. I can't remember, a long time ago.
Yes.
And good on them for getting him, but if he says no, there's only so much you can do about it.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I'd like to run through the confirmed signers for No Way Home, unless you guys aren't really interested in that.
Oh, don't get shy on me now, Grant. Come on.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right. So, and I want to talk a little bit about who we didn't get and explain why as well.
Okay.
So right off the bat, you do have Tom Holland autographs in the product. So I mean that's the anchor that the Homecoming product missed. We've now done a couple more Spider-Man films, and we've delivered Holland autographs in all of those films. Like we did them with Jake Gyllenhaal, and and we're doing them now. So you got Tom Holland. We made a huge effort to try and get all 3 Spider-Men. That would have been Holland, Garfield, Maguire.
Yeah.
And we got Andrew Garfield. Again, not easy, not easy at all. Our team, our talent team, talent acquisitions team, kudos to them for being the most charismatic, smooth talking, deal making people on planet Earth to get some of these deals done, because it is sometimes like moving heaven and earth to get the deals done. Andrew Garfield's in. Tobey Maguire is unfortunately not in, which broke my heart, because we literally built a triple signed Spider-Man card, printed the card, and had to shred it and throw it away. We knew that card would have been like a heaven on earth, once in a lifetime card. We knew that. We tried everything in our power to get Tobey Maguire and his agent to respond and engage, and we ran out of time. Couldn't get it done. We had to get the product out and just couldn't do it. So we then turned our focus. But I think getting 2 out of 3 Spider-Man is pretty good.
That's pretty decent.
Pretty good. Bringing Andrew Garfield back. He hasn't signed in 10 years, 12 years, 20 years, 20 years.
Yeah, more. It's a while back. Yeah.
A long time ago. Okay. So we then focused on what about the villains? Okay. Let's talk about Zendaya. Zendaya will never sign. You literally would have to give $100 million to her agency to get her to just even look your way. Not happening. We kicked the tires, but It ain't happening. Zendaya is not happening. And you'll also notice Zendaya has never been a name that you've seen at New York City Comic Con or Emerald City Comic Con. Or there's a reason. There's a reason. Maybe it happens someday. I don't know. Maybe it happens someday. But was ruled out pretty early. Next up, we focused like, hey, this is sort of the Sinister Six thematically, you know. And there's some huge names like Jamie Foxx is a monster name. Yeah. And again, we had to kind of figure our budget out. Where do you want it? You can't afford everybody. You got to have Holland. Our focus was trying to get all three Spider-Men. You got to get Willem Dafoe. By the way, we got Willem Dafoe. So you got Willem Dafoe autographs in there. So you got the primary villain. Green Goblin is in there. You got two Spider-Men, you got a Green Goblin, but you don't have Electro. Would have been a huge name, but let's face it, it didn't have that much screen time. And again, that's a monster name that I can't even imagine how the amount of zeros on that contract that would have been needed to get Jamie Foxx, who, by the way, has been in poor health for the past year, and thank God it's getting better. That would have been another complication. So near impossible. We talked about actors were not allowed to use imagery rights. Alfred Molina is one of them here. You won't see Alfred Molina's image in the film. We would have loved. I thought he was such a cool Dr. Octopus. He's such a great actor, and he was such a good Dr. Octopus. Guy. It broke my heart because we're not allowed to make him in the set, so he was ruled out. We did get another really cool cool actor. Ian, one of my favorite films of all time is a film called Sideways.
Thomas Hayden Church.
It stars Paul Giamatti and Thomas Hayden Church on a sort of bachelor's weekend.
I love it. I love that film.
In the beautiful central coast of California, near my college, near and dear to my heart, UC Santa Barbara. Go Gauchos. Love the film for so many reasons. I think it's one of the funniest films ever written, one of the smartest films, and I can't wait. Alexander Payne has a new film coming out, so it should be great. Nonetheless, Thomas Hayden Church is part of what made Sideways so great.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited about that.
Humor.
Yeah.
He's great in everything. Is there anything you've seen?
And he played Sandman, of course, in the
He's
Spider-Man 3.
Sandman. He plays that angst-ridden Sandman here. He's never signed cards for us before. There you go. There's the first time UD signer, Thomas Hayden Church. I love that name. That is a significant guy who's had a 25-year history in Hollywood of notable films, notable characters. Great signer. Very happy to have him. Next up, amongst the bad guys, the Lizard. We got the Lizard. That's Rhys Ifans.
Welsh
actor, I believe. Yeah. Great Welsh actor.
Yeah.
So you got Green Goblin, the Sandman, and the Lizard. So you got three good villains. So you got two Spider-Men and three good villains. So that gives me what I would think is a pretty good solid basis for representing the villains in the film. And I've explained the reasons why we couldn't get some of the other actors. Moving on from there, you got another really interesting name here. We got Marissa Tomei to sign cards for us, and that's a first-time signer as well.
Oh yes,
that's another she's been in legendary films. Really important films.
Yeah.
Really important films. She's a fantastic actress. Finally got her. That was at the 11th hour. The 11th hour, we finally got her in there. And so she is another first-time signer for us for No Way Home. Very excited to have her in there. I think she's going to value out pretty well. And then we do have other characters in there, our returning actors. Like we have Jacob Batalon as Ned Leeds.
Yeah.
And we also managed to get Tony Revolori to come back as well and sign as Flash Thompson.
He's great.
So I've mentioned, so there is the breadth of actors that are signing for the product. And I think that's a pretty solid lineup. Some pretty good names there. But we got one more signing.
You're about to drop in Cumberbatch, aren't you?
You dog. How did you guess? Yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch is Doctor Strange.
I could tell you were taking a run-up.
I'm sorry. Prominent role in this film.
He was
a big character in this film.
Yeah.
He was a huge character in the film. And we thought it really important to try and take some of that budget. And Benedict Cumberbatch is top of the mountain. He is a huge value autograph, and he doesn't come cheap. He's expensive. And all right, let's do it. Let's bring it. This is No Way Home. This is going to we need major tentpole signers. So you've got Holland and Cumberbatch and Garfield and Willem Dafoe just punching away like crazy on this. So I'd like to think that this is a product that delivers a really nice array of autographs. This is
Mm.
also a product built by Billy Celio. He built Eternals. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
And we had discussions about, hey, people are grumbling about WandaVision and whatever it may be, or the content of
Yeah, yeah.
Winter Soldier. And I love the look of these cards. The base cards are beautiful. Our designers did a great job. The parallels are gorgeous on here, but Billy is really good at building unique, interesting inserts. So I think you're going to see some stuff that's going to be super cool and finally answer the question of where is the value coming for big time chase cards outside of autographs. I don't want to give away what those cards are going to be, but they're not signed.
Okay.
But I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with some of the rare chase elements in this product that
Nice.
will provide a level of what I would hope to think is a little step forward in positive growth as we as a product building team release these products, get our learnings, challenge ourselves to try and get better with the limitations that we have.
Wow. Okay. You can't say fairer than that. I'm Marissa Tomei. You had me at Marissa Tomei, quite frankly. Um, and when can folks expect that again?
That should be early November.
Oh wow. Okay.
So that's less than 2 months
Very, very exciting.
from filming.
Please tell me there's a dual Holland and Cumberbatch
Oh gosh,
somewhere in that product. I'm sure
I'd
there
have to look
probably
into
is.
the checklist.
If there wasn't, I'd be very surprised. It possibly
I
is
am
packaging.
not entirely sure. I think I told you before we started filming that I have something like 17 different spreadsheets pulled up. Actually, I do have it here. Let me see here.
Because that is the card that will drive people crazy.
We do have a Holland Cumberbatch dual auto. Oh, by the way, we have all sorts of really cool inscriptions. We didn't even talk about inscriptions
Oh,
yet, Ian.
inscriptions! I'm loving the ones you
I'd
did on
like to
Loki.
think, and I know, yes, all of our Marvel autographs are sticker autographs. I think part of what we told you about, we don't really even get started on these products until the films come out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And the timing on getting the deals done, some of these deals will run like 4-6 months in tenure to get them done. And they'll say, okay, you can do the deal. You need to do the signing tomorrow because that's when the talent will do it because they're going to Croatia for 6 months to film after on Wednesday or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So off you go, you get your labels, and that's why we do it. Otherwise, you're not going to have these actors. Hopefully, we're designing designs that mask the edges of the label pretty well. You could look at some of the Loki designs to look up for examples of masking on like Glorious Purpose and where the framing almost masks the signature that it's
works on Eternals as well.
But despite the fact that they're signing labels, the talent has been kind enough to really do awesome inscriptions. So we talked about a Cumberbatch and Doctor Strange dual auto that does exist. It's not inscribed, but we have a Tom Holland, Willem Dafoe dual inscribed autograph where Holland inscribed his character Spider-Man, Dafoe inscribes his character Green Goblin on there. Dafoe did some great ones. He did one that says Peter, Peter, Peter on there as an inscription. How cool is that?
Wow.
So there's some really fun cards in here. There's some really, really fun stuff in here.
Right. Let's move on. Let's move on. So after that, I'm showing Hawkeye. Up to that.
Let's talk about Hawkeye. Hawkeye is late November, as averse to Spider-Man. These are estimated dates, so don't kill me if we're off by a month. If things happen in our world, vendors can slide, we can slide, things happen. So it's estimated right now to be a late November release for Hawkeye. I love that series. I love the comic book too that the show was based on.
Matt Fraction.
Oh my gosh, I love the comic book so much, and the art was so beautiful. Great storyline, great story. We've got the two key signers are there, confirmed. Jeremy Renner, Haley Steinfeld, both are signing cards, both inscribed cards. There is a dual inscribed Renner and Steinfeld auto where they talk to each other. The inscriptions actually talk to each other. It's really cool. We've only done that a couple times before in I think X-Files, something like that.
Wow, yes.
Where there's a scene in one of the shows in Hawkeye where it's something about like, oh, he's my partner, Haley Steinfeld would say, and Renner's like, no, she's not my partner. Something like that. And it's an actual scene from the film. And we got them to write those quotes, and we built the card where the quotes actually kind of interact with each other.
Nice.
So really neat card. So you'll see those two as the primary signers. First ever signer for us, Alakwa Cox as Echo, or Maya
Oh,
Lopez, the
yes.
assassin. And obviously, many listeners would know she does have her own Disney Plus show slated to release in 2024. So
That's
I
right.
think this is an actress that's going to be growing in prominence in the MCU and her exposure. And this will be the first place you'll ever get her autographs. Also, you've got Vera Farmiga and Tony Dalton. Vera
Oh,
Farmiga
Tony
was Eleanor
Dalton.
Bishop.
Yes,
And then you got Tony Dalton as the swordsman, or I
that's
think
it.
his name was Jack Duquesne
That's it.
in the
Yeah, yeah.
show. Those
He was
two
so
are
good in
also, I
Breaking
think,
Bad.
first-time signers for us.
Hmm.
And lastly, you have Frafi, the villain Kazi, signing for us as well.
Oh,
So, and there is an insert in Hawkeye that I love. This is also, we're taking baby steps to try and make more interesting cards that are not signed, right? There's these cards called adornments. That's right. They're called adornments. And as you know, the show is based on
Christmas.
Christmas,
Yeah,
Christmas
yeah.
time. So adornments like Christmas tree adornments.
Hmm.
We wanted to take cards that almost look like an ultra medallion card, that bright, but you die cut them in the shape of adornments. So there'll be star-shaped ones or bell-shaped ones or light bulb-shaped ones.
Nice.
And so they're very intricate die cuts, and they're 100% Spectrum Light FX foil coverage, and we include and those are what replaces the film cels in this product.
Oh, I'm with you.
So you've got all these different tiers. So the star-shaped adornments, you may have 6 of them, one for each character, and those may be twice as scarce as the cookie-shaped adornments or
Gotcha.
the Christmas sock-shaped adornments.
Gotcha.
And on ePack, each of those little subsets you can collect and get an achievement. It's gonna be so fun, but I'm so excited just to see these beautiful. They are some of the prettiest designer. Our design team, a designer named Mary did these ones, did these adornments. I'm so excited. They're like my favorite design of the year, literally right up there. Some of my favorite
Wow.
designs of the years in Hawkeye, and I think this is another example of like, okay, we get it. We're trying to do more creative stuff for you in these MCU products. And these adornments are the coolest sets. I highly encourage you guys to take a look at considering collecting them. And oh, by the way, yes, we did autograph parallels of the adornments, and they're rare as all get out, but they're gonna be awesome. They're gonna be awesome cards. Super excited about those cards.
I'm duty bound to ask, did you get Vincent D'Onofrio?
Yes and no.
Okie dokie.
Yes and no. It's a hard one for me to talk about. We do have Vincent D'Onofrio under contract. We cannot use his autographs in Hawkeye because we did not get any approved images from the licensor.
Okay.
And it saddened me greatly for many days because
I remember,
love him as the Kingpin. When he came on screen as the Kingpin in this show, took off. Those last 2 episodes kicked butt. He was such a great Kingpin. And so excited that like we got him. We got him. We literally
but I remember off record, and I think I can say this now, hopefully I can always cut it out. You told me that you just got him to agree to sign last time we spoke, and this was like
and he did
14 15 months ago,
and we did.
And then cruelly you haven't got an image.
Yeah, we begged and begged and just it couldn't happen. So
okay,
totally bummed about it, but we will find a place to use him in the future because he's coming up to appear, I'd assume, in like Daredevil Born Again.
Oh, of course.
Echo. So hopefully we'll be able to use them in the future.
Yeah. And I've got to ask before we move on, Florence Pugh.
I wish she falls into the Zendaya.
She is Zendaya. Yeah, I had a feeling she might be.
I think she is a mega star on the horizon, and I'm focusing on We tried very, very hard to get Florence Pugh because I think she would have been arguably the biggest signer in the product if we could have got her. But I'm really focusing to try and do an all-out effort, and we tried. We waited and waited for her forever on it, and her team just kept saying she's busy. We'll get back to you. She's busy. We'll get back to you. She's busy. We'll get back to you. But I do believe it was never a no. It was never a no. And again, you've never seen her.
And she is busy. She is doing a lot of films.
Busy. Yeah, she's busy. She's so talented.
Filming June too.
She is so talented. Yeah. She's so every time she's on screen in Hawkeye as Yelena Belova, you are glued to the screen. You're just glued to the screen. She's a magnetic actress with unbelievable talent. And I think she's got a huge future in Hollywood. And I think she's going to make Thunderbolts. She will be the difference maker in the MCU Thunderbolts film. And that's where I really want to focus, to double down, all out, do everything we can to go get her as a tent pole signer for Thunderbolts is my hope. But again, it's a hope.
So let's move on to the next one, Moon Knight.
Moon Knight. Oh, we did so well with Moon Knight. And Moon Knight was a weird show.
Moon Knight. I loved Moon Knight. I
had no idea what was going on for 75 to 90% of Moon Knight. I
was the same with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I had no idea what was going on. But Moon Knight.
I mean, whoever created Moon Knight, they were having hallucinogenic, dark dreams of craziness.
Well, I think that's why Oscar Isaac was attracted to it, because it was such
probably because it's a huge challenge. And Oscar Isaac, every time he does something, he's an appropriately named guy, because every time he does something, he gives Oscar-worthy performances. He really digs deep, and that dude brings it big time. He's a big-time talent. Again, huge name to try and go sign. And a name I don't think had signed, might never have signed for Star Wars, is Poe. Maybe recently.
I think he has, actually. I'm pretty. I might be wrong, but I have a feeling recently, he did.
But I think for a long time, he had not. Maybe good on them if they managed to get him. I can't imagine his autographs are cheap in Star Wars products, if so. And sure enough, we managed to get Oscar. I actually went and participated with the signing. I got to meet him real briefly. Super pleasant guy, lovely guy. It's an awesome experience for me. It was a really neat experience. And he did some incredible inscriptions, like Later's Gators, and just incredible inscriptions, fun stuff there. And we nailed it on the signers for Moon Knight. We got Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight. We got Ethan Hawke as Arthur Harrow.
Oh,
Ethan
wonderful.
Hawke, he's a name on the same level to me as like an Owen Wilson.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guy's been around forever. Huge films, big name. And you would think on the surface that Upper Deck getting him would be a long shot. Like Owen Wilson's like a crazy long shot in my mind, but we're having greater success because we've got some great talent on our talent acquisition team that is making inroads. And we're paying more, obviously, but we are making inroads and better relationships with the big agencies. And they come back to us now because we're offering more money. And now you're starting to see that we are taking advantage of that.
Good.
F. Murray Abraham.
Oh,
there's another great name.
Wow.
Did you see Amadeus, the film, back in the day from the 80s?
Yes, and of course Scarface.
Oh, okay. But I love him as Salieri.
It's Salieri. He's brilliant. Of
Amadeus.
Course, he was in...
He's Salieri. And also, he was in season 2 of The White Lotus.
Which
is this huge hit on, I think, Cinemax.
Yes, and Homeland. He was huge in Homeland. And of course, he was
Homeland. You're right.
in
F. Murray Abraham's another
Star
one
Trek
of these,
Insurrection.
He's another one of these career actors that has been in some legendary films.
Oh, he's incredible.
That I didn't think we were going to get, and we got him. He's a first-time ever signer of anything ever, and I think so is Ethan Hawke. I don't think Ethan Hawke has signed anything ever of trading cards.
F. Murray Abraham signed for Star Trek Insurrection.
No, you're good. Okay, great. How about Ethan Hawke?
I don't believe he signed for anything.
Yeah. Because he definitely didn't sign before sunset or anything like that.
No. I don't think they did trading cards.
Yeah, no trading cards there.
No.
And nonetheless, though, another great name. He's the voice of Khonshu in that film.
Yes.
We also got May Kalamaui as the Scarlet Scarab.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Great signer that's a great autograph for that. If you enjoy the show, she's a big character in there.
Yeah.
We got the actress Antonia Salib as Tawaret, who is the hippo goddess.
Oh, yes. She's brilliant. Yeah.
Great. I loved her in that. We got her. And then finally, we got the crocodile goddess at the end. Do you remember the last episode?
Yeah.
When the big, giant crocodile goddess is running around. We got her. That's Saba Mubarak as Amit, the crocodile goddess. So that was the lineup. We got 6 signers for Moon Knight, but I think we did a really good job with that. We got all the names you'd want. And we're making some incredibly cool
I was going to say, you're going to have some fun with that set, I'm sure.
Oh, Moon Knight was done by Joe Sorensen, one of our newer guys that came up with such great ideas for it. He did an entire set of die-cut Light FX inserts, all based on the phases of the moon. So the die-cuts kind of adjust as the moon phases go. Super, super cool. Instead of film cells, that kind of stuff. He also did really cool, I think, two-sided metal cards that kind of flip upside down for
Oh,
the
wow.
duality
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
the split personalities
Yes.
of Mark Spector. And so really, really neat stuff there. And the design team, again, I think they knocked it out of the park with this one. I'm really
Wow.
excited for Moon Knight. I think
Okay, yeah.
people are maybe sleeping on it, but hopefully we'll be able to
Such a good show.
get a
Such
few
a
more
good
people
show.
interested.
Um, and lastly, on the MCU list, before we've got to get to the publishing one, we have. I'll let you say this one because I'm very excited, and I loved this film a lot. I know not a lot, some people were less keen on it, but I loved it.
I loved it too, Ian. That's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That's our last MCU product we have in the next 6 or so months. We just recently released the solicitation materials for it,
Yes.
and I think people, some listeners that are very follow a lot of the MCU trading card stuff know that Benedict Cumberbatch will be signing for this product. Obviously, if he's in No Way Home, he's going to be in here.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen is coming back to sign for
Great.
this product too. So you've got the villain and you got the hero in the two
Mm.
main characters, and they're huge names. They both deliver huge values in the secondary market for trading cards. Very, very popular actor and actress. So those are sort of our tent poles for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. But not to be undone, we also have a first-time signer, Xochitl Gomez, as America Chavez, what I would
Yes.
regard as the third
Nice.
most important signer for the product if you see the film. It's
Hmm.
all about those three characters,
Yeah, yeah.
basically. We got all three. Billy Celio jumped on your MCCW message board and ruined the surprise that Rachel McAdams is our first time signer for us as Dr.
Mm.
Christine Palmer. And I think she's going to sell pretty well. She's
Yes.
still like a Marissa Tomei kind of a signer,
Oh,
but I
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's going to bring
absolutely.
some
Yeah,
good
yeah.
values. We also have Haley Atwell is signing as Captain Carter.
Yes.
And we've got Benedict Wong signing as Wong.
Yes.
We have Lashana Lynch, first time for us, I
Oh,
believe,
oh,
signing as
yes.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we have Adam Hugill as Rintrah, which was the blue Minotaur
That's right.
in the film. So
Okay.
that is, in all, I think 9 signers
Oof.
for Multiverse of Madness.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
And I
that's
love
pretty
my
hefty.
favorite card in Multiverse of Madness is the autograph booklets based on what's the name of that crazy book that the whole film
Darkhold.
was based on?
Darkhold.
The Darkhold, yeah.
Hmm.
We did folding booklet cards with autographs like that to mimic the book.
Nice.
Yeah, those are gonna be great.
Nice. Nice. I know Patrick Stewart doesn't sign anymore, so you wouldn't have gotten him. Pretty sure he
He was
stopped.
discussed. I remember he was discussed, but
Yeah.
yes, I mean, we wanted to really commit to deliver a
Yeah.
good number of Cumberbatch autographs in this product. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
not
Yeah.
like we're not just putting 25 Cumberbatch. We put a good chunk of autographs of our
Yeah.
stars in these
Yeah. Yeah.
products,
Yeah.
and that you got to make some sacrifices.
Yeah. No, of course. And
Even if
John,
Patrick Stewart was going to sign, he's not a cheap signer.
no, he's not a cheap
So
signer. But then
no.
again, there are thousands of Patrick Stewart cards out there. I mean, he's paid his dues. He's
Mm.
done a lot of
Yeah,
signings over the years, so it's
for
not as if
sure.
he's in short supply. John Krasinski would have been a fun one
Would have
as
been
Mr.
fantastic, but he's
Fantastic,
not approved.
but he's not.
That's an example of an
Oh,
actor that was
interesting,
not approved on the approved list.
interesting. And of course, who's the guys in Star Trek Discovery? Played Black Bolt. Can't remember
Anson
the actor's
Mount.
name. That's it, Anson
Anson
Mount.
Mount is his name. Um, we pursued him, but he is not. I believe he's not approved for this film too.
No, fair enough. To be fair, you don't see a lot of the images of those two actors. You don't see in any of the still shots from the film anywhere, as far as I
Right.
can remember. Well, that's exciting, and I'm sure you've had fun with some of the inserts on that as well,
We
given the
have, and
crazy
hopefully,
stuff.
like I talked about with the adornments in Hawkeye and with
Mm,
the Book of Ashanti. That's what the book name I was talking about. The Book of Ashanti booklet autographs and Doctor Strange.
okay.
Hopefully, we're trying to stretch our boundaries and kind of deliver new style cards,
Mm,
whether they're signed or
mm,
unsigned. I
mm,
think there's
mm, mm,
some
mm.
Billy created some really great chase cards, and Joe created some really great chase cards in Spider-Man: No Way Home and Moon Knight, respectively. That we are taking our lessons and hopefully delivering some better content to you as each iteration of an MCU product gets out.
Nice. Okay. So let's flip to publishing. So Allegiance is literally like breaking now.
It
We've
is
got to put a
breaking
box
now,
on the
and
way. So yes.
Allegiance is sort of like what if to me that I thought Allegiance would be completely overlooked by everybody that's just focusing on like Marvel Premiere or Marvel Masterpieces or some of the bigger products. I thought they would be like, I'm not going to pay it much attention. But similar to what if, I think we pleasantly surprised our
I think there's
consumers
some very pleasant surprise going on. Yeah.
with the box breaks that are a lot of fun because this product's super fun. And I love it because it's a new type of product for us in the publishing world. It is a product in publishing that is based on a finite amount of content. It's not like Fleer Ultra Avengers where you got, okay, anything of all time for the past 60 years of Avengers, just go ahead and you can use it. This is just based on one event in a publishing storyline.
Yeah.
You know, this is the Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah.
And I think people know we've got forthcoming Upper Deck Allegiance products coming with Marvel Publishing on other publishing events. But let's stay focused on this one. Avengers versus X-Men was a publishing storyline done in the year 2012. And it was a huge impact back in 2012.
Yeah.
A lot of people remember it. And what I like about it, and what it as a product builder, it has enough characters in it where we can give you that 100 card base set of all characters. We can, and then we can give you a storyline base set as well, which we did, that one per pack. I think it's, let me see here. Allegiance is 12 boxes per case, 16 packs per box, 6 cards per pack. And out of those 6 cards per pack, you're getting 4 of those character cards. Then you get 1 of these sort of storyline chapters cards. And they're horizontally oriented, the 1 per pack cards, whereas the base set cards, the character ones, are vertically oriented. And that's very much my direction to say, hey, if you're making character cards, make them vertical.
Yeah.
But if it's a storyline card, I'm fine with making it horizontal.
Yeah.
Those are 1 per pack, but you've got to break like 90 packs just to get enough of those to build that chapter set. Not an easy set. And then you get 1 additional chase card, which could be a parallel, could be a rare insert, it could be a sketch card. But what's cool about it is amongst that last card per pack, that 6th card per pack, these premium inserts, we managed to put a lot of really cool technology like patterned foil boards, light FX, lenticulars, holograms, and or that's not even talking about sketch cards, autographs, and comic clippings.
Yeah.
And then you go into those, I can tell you at a rate of about 2 per case, you're going to get a combination of autos, comic clippings, and sketches. So if you break a whole sealed case, hobby case of this product, you should get about 2 of those big hits.
Gotcha.
And I think, as we talked about earlier in Marvel Beginnings, the creator autographs, we're finding ways to present them in attractive fashion that is deriving greater secondary values, of which then creates the effective, better content value for people who are breaking boxes.
Yeah.
Right? They're not $3 creator autographs like they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They're like $20 to $100 cards now. And that's pretty cool. And I think we're going to deliver that in Beginnings as well. The autograph cards look really nice. And I love that the signers we got are so cool because we got some of the creators that created this run of comics.
Yeah.
It's so neat. We got, Jason Aaron, the primary writer. We got, let me see here. Who else do we got? Brian Michael Bendis, Chris Claremont, and Christos Gage. We got 4 of the writers.
Nice.
And then we got a true legend, John Romita Jr. signing on the artist side. Those are your signers. That's it. Just 5 signers, but they're all intimately associated
tight unit. Yeah,
with the theming of the product, and their signatures are on those horizontal chapters cards.
Yes.
They're not on the character cards. We deliberately did that because we wanted to say, hey, these are the creators that did this for you. The art's great. The art was great. It made for great trading cards. Sometimes library art can be fantastic. Sometimes it's not so fantastic if you get the older stuff. We know that, but I think this one, the art came out really nicely.
Yeah.
And I think TJ, our coordinator that worked on this, I don't know of a human being on planet Earth that is more passionate about comic books than TJ. And I'm pretty sure he got involved with all the photo selection, which is unusual for a coordinator to do that, and literally help direct traffic to make sure the best images were used for this.
Nice.
And you're starting to see that true, 10th degree black belt level love put into it by an expert, one of the most knowledgeable people on planet Earth, saying, no, use this photo. Don't repeat that photo of Jackal from, like we saw in Fleer Ultra Avengers.
Yeah.
you give TJ had a full shot to just to get the photos right on the whole product.
Nice.
And I think you're seeing it with how pretty the product looks because the images are great. I don't think people break this product and say, wow, I wish it was original art. I think they can appreciate it for what it is, and it just looks attractive. That sometimes Marvel art looks great in trading card format too.
Yeah. I think it helps that it focuses just on an event series like that. I think that's a really smart move. The sketch cards that we're seeing are absolutely jaw-dropping, this set.
Thank you. I think they look great too. Part of that is what we talked about, I think, on the last show I was on, that they are dropping far less frequently. And part of the lower in frequency is you can upgrade the quality. And if you step off that need to deliver a sketch in every box that 5 years ago you had to do, I think we found in publishing, it is such a ripe market where consumers appreciate so many different things, and you can deliver it in technology and all that kind of stuff, that you don't have to deliver that sketch card. Otherwise, the box feels hollow, like a 10-year-old box might have felt. I think you can break a product like Allegiance, not get a sketch, and you don't even think about not getting the sketch. You're just like, that was fun.
Yeah.
And then when you do get a sketch, the art is really good because we're not trying to jam, way too much through the system. And let's face it, the approvals that Marvel is doing on sketch cards is getting harder. There's more cards that are denied because they're not up to the approval standards of Marvel.
Yeah. Interesting.
So you're seeing that. One other thing I want to talk about in Allegiance is the booklets. The clippings, the comic clippings. Obviously, all the comic clippings are based on the comic books that are, of the Avengers versus X-Men storyline. But I like the fact that they're all kind of different. The single panel, single card clippings booklets each have 2 clippings in them. That's kind of cool. And then the other ones, there's really rare ones that I'm sure some of the listeners have seen or discussed on message boards or whatever.
They fold out.
They're booklets.
Yes.
They're booklets. And there's 2 different types of booklets. There's 2 different types of booklets. So there's an unsigned booklet numbered of 25. And then there's a really rare auto booklet where you open it up and there's 5 clippings and then an autograph of the creator.
Yeah.
Those are such cool booklets. I love those.
Yeah, there's a Jason Aaron one that popped up on Grid.
And as a product development guy working with my team, it's those sort of innovations and little tweaks we can do to things that make it so fun to see how they perform in the secondary market and what people think of them. So that's my spiel on Allegiance.
No. Listen, I've got, like I said, this time next week, I'll have opened at least one box of it. So, I'm looking forward to it. So watch this space, although it would have happened by the time this episode goes out. So look at
another one of my indie darlings.
Yes, exactly. Right. So next up, much delayed Marvel premiere. And it doesn't even say a year after it on this one. I think probably wisely.
I mean, that's an interesting point. Before we get into premiere, I want to talk about that. We've actually started stripping years off of many of our Marvel products, be it cinematic or publishing, because and we're going to start referencing them as a volume 1 or a volume 2, etc. Because does it really matter what year? Like if we intended the Dan Dos Santos masterpieces to be a 2022 product, but it slipped. If you never knew that and it came out in 2023, does it matter? It's just a Marvel Masterpieces Dan Dos Santos.
Yeah.
So unlike sports products, where like a football product, if you collect football cards, the years are very important because you have rookie classes that are the primary driver for sales. So you have to have these.
It's all about that season. Yeah.
Yeah, and these brands have these annual legacies for 30 years in a row. So whatever it may be, that's very important. And that's not the same when you're dealing with entertainment trading cards. So we don't really need a year on Marvel Studios Hawkeye. It's just Marvel Studios Hawkeye. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Whatever year it comes out, it comes out. And I wish it came out sooner, but it is what it is. So yes, getting back to Marvel Premiere, this one took forever because it's all high-end sketches, takes forever. Took forever. It doesn't even matter. It comes out in 2023. Okay, that's the year it came out. But it's probably like Marvel Premiere Volume 3 or whatever volume it is. I can't remember.
This will be 5.
5. There you go. That's probably the proper name for it.
Fair enough. So what can we expect from Premiere?
It is slated for an early October release. So we should see it quite soon within the next few weeks of our taping. 6 boxes per case, 1 pack per box, 5 cards per pack. But as you open that box, it should be like a 4-card grouping and then an oversized sketch card.
And is it the metal tin again?
It should be that big metal tin, and it's got like this plastic tray on the
That's right.
interior.
Yeah, that's right.
Will hold your oversized sketch card, and I believe there's like a pack of cards underneath it. Can't remember, or at least it's a stack or a pack of cards underneath it. So from the 4 standard cards you get, excluding the oversized sketch, you're guaranteed 2 base set cards, and the base that is amongst a 50 card set where the base cards are numbered of 99, and then there's an array of scarcer parallels numbered, I think, all the way down to 5 or 1. I can't remember, but they're scarcer parallels. And then amongst all the base set and the parallels, you get 2 of those cards per box. Then the third card you get is an insert card, and the inserts are called art stages or breakout. Those are the 2 themes of what they are. And they have some parallels as well, but you'll get 1 of those chase cards. That's a third card in your pack. And then the 4th card is going to be your single panel sketch card.
Gotcha.
Your standard size 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch sketch card. So that's your 4 cards in your sort of pack. Then you've got that 5th card being sort of the one that everyone focuses their attention on primarily, is the oversized sketch card that defines this brand.
Yeah.
And that's a combination of either dual panel, triple panel, quad panel, or oversized sketch cards.
Right. Yeah.
The oversized sketch cards are 5 by 7 inches in measurement, which is essentially the exact same size of taking 4 standard size cards and making a little square out of them.
Yeah.
Good enough? And those are the ones that sit in that plastic tray inside the tin. Of the sketch cards we're talking about, be it the single panel ones or the bigger ones, the notable artists. You want to hear about some of the notable artists?
Tell me.
Although I know that on the message boards, a lot of the artists themselves have been displaying some absolutely staggering art.
Yeah, they have.
And the names I'm going to throw out here is no disparity to the unbelievably talented artists that have done art here, and I'm not mentioning their names, but the ones that stick out a little bit to me are as follows. So it's about 10 or 12, so I'm just going to go pretty quick. Andre Ausch, Anthony Tan, Ash Gonzalez.
Nice.
Fred and Ian, the Glebe twins. I mean, this is like, I don't know, I'm a baseball guy. This is like the 1927 Yankees with Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig. All right, let me keep going. Liddy Lee, Marcia Dye.
Nice.
Malika Carr, Mitch Ballard, Miles Wall, PJ Catalan, Rhiannon Owens, and lastly, but not least, Simone Bianchi.
Oh, you're kidding me.
I am not kidding.
Oh.
So stick that in corn pop cob kite and smoke it.
Yeah.
Boxes are very expensive right now. We have nothing to do with how secondary sellers, online sellers, shops decide to price their boxes. They're a lot. I think they're like $600 US a box. I think it's a lot. There's nothing I can really say about that, but the art we're seeing from these talented artists is really beautiful. And there's very little of it. There's barely any of it made. And you will see this on ePack. So the physical allotment for the hobby SKU is tiny. You know, it's just we barely made any of this period, and then we got to split it up amongst ePack.
It's a smaller product. I mean, it's always been a smaller product. I remember this with the last. There's just
not much of it. It's going to be expensive. It's going to be limited, and it'll be very pretty.
Such is Premiere. It's always been the way. It's always been the way.
That's it.
I remember 2012, first one. Then I had so much fun with the first volume of this, because you've called it volume 2, Marvel Anime.
Yes, indeed, Marvel Anime Volume 2. So that one is tentatively slated for a mid-October release. Again, am I going to place my life on the line that it releases on October 15th or so? No, but it is tentatively slated for a mid-October release. Hopefully everything goes smoothly, and you'll see it right around there. 8 boxes per inner shipper. That means there's 2 shippers in a master case for those that deal with sealed cases. But if you want like a smaller experience of breaking a sealed case, you can buy a sealed inner shipper. They kind of look like master cases with the cardboard out exteriors. 16 packs per box and 5 cards per pack. I've seen pre-sales online for boxes at around $200 to $250 per. Again, not our price. That's about what I've seen them at. I don't really have any comment on it. I can tell you from the in the packs, you're going to get 4 base cards plus 1 chase card. It's a 100 card base set. Within each box, there is you're either going to get an artist auto or a woodblock card, and I believe the woodblock cards are literally made of wood.
Oh,
Pretty
wow.
cool
Okay.
cards. So you're either going to get a woodblock or an auto in every box. Now, of the artist stuff, we've got an array of talented anime style artists. I'm not familiar with all the artists, so I'm not going to really run through who they are, but the art is going to deliver the anime style that this box buyer, this consumer is expecting. And it's going to be just as every bit up to the standards, hopefully, that Peach Momoko created with the first version of this product. And I'm going to talk about Peach in a second. So the base artist autos, there's a full parallel of the base set where the artist hard signed the cards numbered of 75 copies per.
Okay.
And then there's an array of bonkers inserts where original art as well. And the artist also did hard signed versions of those, and those are numbered of 100 copies per.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Then you've also got the coolest autograph insert in this product is probably going to be the woodblock artist autos. So I talked about woodblock cards being a 1 per box hit. There is a parallel to the woodblock cards, and the woodblock cards feature the art of Peach Momoko. And Peach,
oh, wow. Okay.
And these artist autos, they're limited to a mere 10 serial numbered copies per card.
Oof.
And Peach signed every copy. It's only Peach Momoko signing them, but there's almost about 90 different cards of woodblock. So there's some 900 Peach Momoko autographs in this product that can be found. So it's not like there's just 10 Peach Momoko autos.
Yeah.
But when you find a Peach Momoko card, the individual card will be limited to 10 numbered copies of the card you're holding. Okay. So that, I think, is going to be a big chase. I think people are going to be pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Additionally, at the box level, you're going to get your capsule card. I think that's a key element to this product that kind of creates the feel of the box break for anime. And you've got all those crazy bonkers miniature cards that go inside the capsule cards.
Right.
There's some killer stuff inside there. I didn't even want to get into how nutso that stuff is, but it's bonkers. And then there is additionally per box. So we talked about there's 3 big cards you're going to look for in every box: the capsule card, the auto or woodblock, and then there's going to be 1 additional premium insert card, like the Hanafudas, the stacks. And it can also include rare sketch cards. So there are sketch cards in here.
Okay, good.
But they're going to be a little further out, just like Allegiance, and hopefully of the higher quality that we referenced.
Yeah, they were
That's
pretty.
My spiel on Marvel Anime.
They were incredible with Anime 1. Actually, the sketch cards they were properly top end. So I want to finish. So if you're looking at your document there, I want to finish with the ones in red. So can we jump ahead?
The ones in red. Let's see here. Yes, sure. Why don't you tell me what you want to talk about, Ian?
Let's go to Flare.
Oh,
can you tell us about Flare?
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it because it hasn't officially been solicited yet. And I'm not supposed to talk about unsolicited products. But all I can tell you about Marvel Flare is there will be a Marvel Flare. And I think there's been rumors circulating about it amongst the aficionado hardcore collectors. I can at bare minimum tell you that the official solicitation materials for Marvel Flare should be forthcoming very soon, within the next couple of weeks. Great. That's what I can say about Flare. I can't really speak to it, but keep your eyes peeled for your local shop owner or your favorite online retailer to see what they're posting and the documentation and information they have.
Okay, exciting. All right, it's like the first rule of Fight Club is you can't talk about Fight Club, so we'll move on. So let's talk about this. There's an EPAC exclusive on here. And
there is.
I'm very excited about this.
Yes, and I believe this one, unlike all the other products we've talked about in the first 730 minutes of the show,
this might be too fast at this rate, but carry on.
Those products were either already released or already solicited. So people knew either a lot about it because they broke the product or experienced the product or have seen the solicitations. What we're getting ready to talk about in minute 731 of the show is a product that has never been solicited. And like I said before, typically I'm not allowed to talk about non-solicited products, but we're talking about a loophole here. And the reason I'm allowed to talk about it is because this is an EPAC exclusive product. of which typically we don't solicit EPAC exclusive products because the solicitations are done for hobby shop owners and distributors and that kind of stuff, and brick and mortar physical stores, that kind of stuff. So with an EPAC exclusive product, we don't have solicitations. It just kind of pops up in your inbox and you go, hey, we got something new from EPAC. Cool.
Yeah.
And what I'm talking about here is not something like the Marvel weekly packs. It's not something like Marvel Unbound, where it's almost like one card a week or something. I'm talking about something more like Marvel Black Widow, like a full product. Okay. Now, it's not going to be a sprawling monster with a 5,000 card checklist like Marvel Allure. It's a smaller product, and it's built just for EPAC, and it's not intended as anything super premium. It's intended as more like along the lines of Marvel Beginnings and Marvel Allegiance and that kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
And it's not going to be the first product of its kind. So with all that stated, let's get into what I'm talking about. Okay.
Yes.
The product we're talking about is called Fleer Throwbacks. Okay. And it's called, technically, this one is Fleer Throwbacks Marvel 1989. That's the name of the product. Okay. So we're using our Fleer IP that we own. Mm-hmm. And we were brainstorming, the product team was brainstorming about what can we do for cool products that could be smaller products, not mainstream distribution. We'll be getting EPAC only, smaller runs, but can be really fun sandboxes for us to creatively play in. And we said, why don't we take an idea, like we've got all this incredible IP of all the Fleer designs dating all the way back to 1959. Okay, that's when Fleer started making a lot of their bubblegum trading cards. And don't get me... actually, we have plans for some of the older stuff, but I'm not even going to talk about it now.
Okay.
So we talked about what if we made a set that we use some of this really cool Fleer, these old Fleer designs, but we put ourselves in a box and we limited it to maybe one calendar year. And then we took that one calendar year and we applied it to one calendar year of Marvel Comics publishing comic books. Okay. So we said, all right, let's start with one that's not going to be too hard for us, but still has a great period in comic books and has some great Fleer trading card designs. Let's try and match that up and see how it goes. So we chose 1989. Okay. Now, for if you ever had collected sports cards and you're over the age of 30, you're probably familiar with Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. was a Seattle Mariners baseball outfielder that ushered in our company in 1989 when we made our first ever trading card product. We did 1989 Upper Deck, and hit card number 1 in that set was the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. He is likened to a star of the magnitude of Lionel Messi or Serena Williams or Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan or these global superstars. He was that big of a deal in America in 1989. And he was our first spokesperson, card number 1 in the set. After like the 52 Mantle by Topps 52 Mantle or the Hannes Wagner tobacco card, the third greatest trading card in the history of any trading card ever made is viably the 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. Wow. How crazy is that? Because it ushered in the modern era of trading cards where all of a sudden Upper Deck was there making high-end, beautiful cards, and then Leaf started in 1990 and Stadium Club in 91, etc. In any case, 1989 was a really big deal in trading cards. And in that year, Fleer, they had a huge run. And they did a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. So the 89 Fleer Ken Griffey Jr. Card was a big deal. Big year in trading cards and a big year in comic books as well. You got the back end of the 1980s with all the classic 80s characters in there. And we took that and we made a 30 card base set of the most important characters in Marvel's publishing year of 1989. So you'll have like John Byrne's She-Hulk in there as an example of one of the characters, and it'll be John Byrne art. But we're going to be using the 1989 Fleer baseball designs for those listeners and watchers that know that's a gray pinstripe design that we're going to pop out and use imagery of John Byrne She-Hulk in there. And we've seen the mock-ups. I wish I could share them with you because they look so cool. When we saw them, the designers are putting them out there. I'm like, oh, this is going to work. This looks awesome. So you've got a 30 card base set, and the way the product is issued, it's going to be issued in a 3 card pack. 2 of the cards will be digital, 1 will be physical. So every card
Okay.
will have every pack will have 1 physical card. I don't want to talk about SRPs yet. It's not going to be too expensive. What you've got is, like we talked about, you got the 30 card set as a base set. The 2 base set cards will be digital, but they will have stacks. In fact, they'll have double stacks. They're going to have a 10 card combined to get a physical version of parallel of that card, and then another 10 card combined to get a really rare version of that card.
Okay.
Right. So you got a double stack on the base set. Next up, let me see my notes here. You've got a red parallel of them. Everything else that we're talking about is physical cards. So it's like the 3rd card in the pack. So 50% of the time, the 3rd card in the pack is going to be a physical red bordered parallel of the 30 card base set. And they look beautiful, gorgeous looking cards. Thereafter, there are additional parallels to the base set. They're serial numbered. And these are all physical cards. And they're serial numbered to 489 or less. And it's all like 489, 289, 89.
Gotcha.
Thematically, obviously, based on the year 1989.
Yeah.
The scarcest of the parallels is a purple parallel numbered to 5. So there are no 101s there, but it's numbered to 5. Really tough card. And then amongst, let me see here. How could I say this? After the additional parallels, there's 4 unique insert cards. And those unique insert cards pick up from designs from 1989 Fleer. There's weird ones. Like those are For the Record, Exciting Stars, Superheroes, and Marvel Superstars.
Okay.
We tweaked. It used to be called like Baseball Superstars. So we tweaked it a little bit. They're goofy. They're goofy looking designs, but goofy in a beloved way because they're so old. They're really neat. When you put the publishing art on there, they look great. And those insert cards should fall about 1 in every 3 packs to get one of those 4 different chase cards. And there's an achievement program that covers everything in here that really pushes the set building and the communal trading that is an archetype of the EPAC experience. I think that's a big deal, is that it forces you to interact with other users and trade to build your sets. A lot of these sets are pretty small. They're 10 card sets, 12 card sets. So it's not like we expect you to go spend $2,000 on this product. You could throw a couple $100 at this product and be deeply immersed into it.
Okay.
So I think it's gonna be a really fun product. There are sketch cards in here as well. And there's 2 different types of sketch cards. The sketch cards are in here, but they're rare. They're pretty far out there for chase cards, but you can open a pack and hit one. And then there's achievement sketch cards. And the achievement sketch cards pick up the 1989 Fleer baseball design and then are hand drawn on where the character would have been pictured as white and blank.
Nice.
Hand drawn in there. So really, really cool way to do sketch cards. And you can only get those by doing the achievements.
Yeah. All right, that sounds very exciting.
And that product is slated, like I don't know if I told you, mid to late November is what we're talking about, is the estimated release date. You'll see that on EPAC.
Okay. Good. Well, looking forward to that. And that's something that you plan to be the first in a series.
That there is other iterations, one of which is already in the can and is so fun. I don't want to talk about it yet.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
I've loved seeing some of these cards.
It's just good. It's just good info to know that this is the first of, kind of a series.
It's sort of like Allegiance is the first of a type of a product.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. Right. Let's end then on Marvel Platinum. Now, I don't know if you're going to share your screen again, but before we recorded, you shared screen and I saw all of the original art. I think pretty much all of the original art that's going to go into this set. And my mind is blown. So if you've seen blood dripping down my ear throughout the course of the last 739 minutes it is now, that's why. But talk to me about Marvel Platinum, Grant. Why should we be so excited?
Yeah, and I'm super excited about this product. And all the way back, dating to my last time I was on your show back in spring of 2022, we talked about a long time ago. I think I'd made some sort of cryptic reference to a chromium product that would look like quote unquote vibranium done right. Not that vibranium was wrong, but and that was vibranium was from 2015. I mean, we're talking almost 9 years later by the time this product is slated for a January 2024 release. It's been solicited. I think everyone knows about that. And they've seen some of the cards and they've seen a limited selection of some of the art. But I knew even back then, I had seen some of the art. I knew in my mind what we were building. I thought that we haven't done original. I think Vibranium wasn't original art anyways. Vibranium was library art. And not all, some of the cards worked, some of them didn't. I didn't like that we knocked out the backgrounds on some of the parallels. They looked really kind of empty. But there was some really nice stuff that was done in Vibranium too.
Yeah.
Not to disparage it, but I don't think we just nailed it out of the park. And this one, I think we nailed it out of the park because chromium stock is how can I say, which is like Marvel Allure for those of you that have handled Marvel Allure. It's almost like, it literally feels like an old chrome bumper, like a car bumper. And you can't tear them. They're made of vinyl. Those cards are made of vinyl. That's why you can't tear them.
Wow.
And they're almost like impervious to damage. You can't chip the corners. They're like weapons, those little things. But they are also beautiful, and we've never done high-end original art on chromium cards. And to me, that sounded like a no-brainer. If you just tell a distributor, hey, Joe distributor, would you like an original art Marvel product printed on chromium stock with high-end art? They're probably going to say, yes, give me as much as you can, And I think collectors, they think so too. So we pitched the idea, and then people said, yeah, that sounds like a winner. And the way when we really got into building the product, as people have seen the solicitation, this product is based upon a 200 card base set, right? And there's been a lot of head scratching going, well, it's broken into 100 original art and 100 library art. And a lot of people are looking and they're going, well, why did you do the library art? We just want 200 original art. Why did you do that? That'd be way better. And there's reasons we want to do this. First off, original art takes a lot of time. And if you do 200 versus 100, you're never going to get the product out. This product's releasing much later than we had originally wanted it to release, but it's coming out in 2024. Nobody knows the better because, again, we don't have a year on the product.
Yeah.
But it took a long time. And I wanted to achieve a couple different things more than just original art. I think some of the library art's amazing, and some of the library art is historically important. And I wanted to put it on chromium, and I wanted to pair it with autographs of those creators. So, for example, if Jim Starlin created Thanos, created him, drew him, first ever artist to draw him, I want a chromium card of Thanos signed by Jim Starlin. I think that's an amazing card. And I want it on chromium, and I want parallels, because that's what chromium's about, is beautiful patterns and colors and all that stuff. So I wanted both. And it was also a way I wanted a 200 card set because it allows you to deliver a greater sum. If you're paralleling a 200 card set versus a 100 card set, and you have numbered cards, serial numbered parallels, you're obviously going to get twice as many of them.
Yes.
And you can see them sort of like the success and the part of the fun of breaking a box of What If, where you got 4 numbered cards in a box. I don't think anyone was complaining, saying that was terrible. They probably thought, well, that was fun. Well, we wanted to do that here, and I'll get into the delivery of content in a second in here, but the delivery of content is really rich in here. And part of it was we managed to build a 200 card set and base it upon a 200 card set with 100 original and 100 library. And I think it's a really fun set to collect like that. But it allowed us not only, like I said, to make some amazing auto parallels. It doubled the number of numbered cards we could seed into packs, which will make for a richer box breaking experience for you. So there's a lot of reasons, a lot of things going on that are reasons behind there that may not be immediately apparent. As to why we did stuff. So with that stated, let's talk about the product and what it is. It's 2 inner shippers per master case. So again, those kind of cardboard sealed inner shippers.
Yeah.
Within the inner shipper, it is 8 boxes per inner shipper, and it's 10 packs per box, and it is 10 cards per pack.
Oh,
so
wow.
You get 100,
okay.
You get 100 chromium cards in a box. And I love it because a 10 card pack is a big fat pack. It doesn't feel stingy. It feels like when you open that pack, before you open it, it's heavy and it feels valuable. It seems to speak to you that there is fun, interesting content within. Open me and find what's inside. And this also speaks to a theory that we have been discussing as a product building team, both on the sports and the entertainment side for the past couple of years, as we evolve as a team and as the industry evolves as well, that in many cases, a long time ago, you would do a box of trading cards that would have 24 packs in it, pack after pack after pack. And each pack would have 5 cards in it. And within those 5 cards, it would be 4 base cards and 1 insert card. And 90% of the time, the insert card was a parallel ratioed at 1 and 2 packs or something like that. We are trying to evolve beyond that in many of our products. And Platinum is a good example of it in that it's a 10-card pack. And you get, what you're getting is you're going to get 3 what I would call low series original art cards, cards 1 through 100 on the checklist. And those are going to be the top 3 cards in the pack.
Gotcha.
I hope. In my mind, that's the way I envision it.
Okay.
The bottom 3 cards in every pack are going to be from the high series of the base set. Those are going to be cards 101 through 200, and those are going to be from the creator art, the library art.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So the high series and the low series, they're not scarcer than each other. If you're building the 200 card set, you're not going to, those high series cards are not short printed. You're going to build them in an equal cadence as you play a product. Okay. In the middle, sandwiched in the middle of those is going to be 4 insert cards. And I love that because it's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich where the jelly and the peanut butter right in the middle of the 2 slices of bread. And that's all the good stuff. Although I'd like to think the 6 cards in here, in this case, because it's such a high-end chromium or with such beautiful art, that even the 6 cards that are base cards are going to be desirable, valuable cards. Nonetheless, let's talk about the peanut butter and the jelly. The 4 cards in the middle are going to be your chase cards, and that's going to be an array of different stuff. We have the actual insert cards, like there's like the iconic covers, and there's like these combo cards that pair up to like these horizontal combo cards. I can't even remember the name of the insert set, but they're on the solicitation.
Yeah.
So there's some of those insert cards. There is, of course, going to be an array of parallel cards. In fact, I can tell you amongst the 4 inserts, you're going to get 1 rainbow parallel of the 200 card base set. And a rainbow parallel, like if you've seen Allure, there's rainbow parallels in Allure. It's basically like the standard chromium card, but much brighter and much more iridescent. That was a nice word right there. You're going to get 1 rainbow parallel. You're also going to get 1 ratioed parallel of the 1 through 200 card set that I'm calling a color bordered parallel. And again, if you've seen the solicitation, there are ratioed black bordered, red bordered, blue bordered cards. And the base set design was deliberately designed to take advantage of how nicely the chromium stock parallels to tinted colors. So you'll get 1 ratioed color bordered parallel, but there's a variety, at least 3 different colors to choose from. At different seeding ratios. I think black's the scarcest. So that's 2 of your 4 inserts. You're also your 3rd of your 4 inserts in the peanut butter and jelly. I don't know why I'm going back to that metaphor. That was weird.
I like it. I'm
probably like subliminally wanting a PB&J sandwich.
You're hungry. I get it. It's Friday.
Sorry, I'll stop talking about PB&J. The 3rd of the 4th chase cards in every pack is going to be what we're calling a cover variant of the 100 low series original art cards.
Okay.
So this is sort of taking a nod to Marvel masterpieces, where original art looks really cool if you lay it over the format of a Marvel comic book that is thematically applicable to the painted character.
Nice. Yeah.
So why not do that? If everyone loves it on thick cards, like 140-point thick cards in Marvel masterpieces, wouldn't that look amazing on chromium stock?
Yes,
I think it would look kind of cool on chromium stock. So we did that. We didn't do it on the high series cards because it's not really going to make sense like that.
Yeah.
We just did it as a 1, and it's only 1 per pack. So you got to collect 100 packs to build this set. But I think it's going to be really popular.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the masterpiece what if card, So that's your 3rd insert. And those inserts, that insert set, that cover variant 100 card set will have rainbow parallels and other various forms of parallels on it. And I believe those will have on-card auto versions as well.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
So what do you think of that?
Well, how'd
And
you
I
like
haven't even
them
told
apples?
you about some of the artists that are doing the base set
Tell me
who are
about
going to
some
be
of the
signing
artists.
some of those cards. But let's just talk, before we get into that, let's talk
Ah!
about the last of the 4 cards in every single pack. The last of the 4 cards in every single pack is actually going to be your rarest chase card, right? Because that's going to be all the other stuff. A lot of the numbered parallels that can go down to golden treasures that are numbered 1 of 1s, the autograph parallels that we talked about. And the autograph cards are going to be a mixture of on-card autographs and then stickered autographs from creators like Jim Starlin, Roy Thomas, some of the Marvel legends.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also really autographs from writers, from Marvel comic writers that are not, would never do original art. Like Roy Thomas created the Vision. That's a pretty cool character.
Yeah.
Like you may have a chromium card of Avengers 57 cover on it with a Roy Thomas autograph. That's really cool.
Gotcha.
But he could never do an original art autograph. And Roy Thomas is like 90 years old too. So yeah, you're not going to be signing a lot of cards there. So we will have some sticker autographs, but we're going to have some hard side autographs too. That last chase card in the pack is going to be from 25 different things that are all pretty rare. Now I can tell you, on average, this is going to blow your mind. Every other pack, 1 in every 2 packs will either have a serial numbered card or an autograph card.
Oh, wow.
Wow, indeed.
Okay,
Wow,
so that's
indeed.
5. So 5.
So now
Potentially
keep in mind,
5.
Ian.
Hang on. Every other pack. There's 10 packs per box.
Correct.
Wow. Okay.
So you break a box, you're going to get 5 numbered or autograph cards. Now the autograph cards are further out there. You're not going to get 5 autograph cards in a box. But 1 in every 2 packs, you're going to get a numbered card.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then, by the way, there's all sorts of really valuable cards that aren't even numbered that are way out there, like case at level chase, that aren't numbered. That could fall in other packs, but 50% of the packs are going to have stuff that people really like chasing. So it's not like going to be you're breaking platinum and never finding numbered cards. They're all over the place. And that's what I want to circle back to earlier. Like, why did you make a 200 card set and add that 100 card high series? Wait until you see how nice the 100 card high series cards are. I talked about TJ getting involved with Upper Deck Allegiance earlier, making sure the photos are right. Same dude did the same kind of thing. In fact, me and TJ spoke for hours on end about how we want to put the checklist in order. And I want to talk about that in a second with the low series, by the specific order we presented the set to the collector once you put it in your sheets and binders.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about this product. It's got so much going for it. So let's move on then. Let's talk about I guess let's get the signers out of the way first. The high series cards 101 through 200, parallel to a bunch of different signers.
These are the comic art.
And they have amazing comic art. So I'm just going to run through this name of, like, oh my God, drop dead Marvel legend after Marvel legend. Jim Starlin, Bill Sienkiewicz, Ron Lim, Brian Michael Bendis, Chris Claremont, Roy Thomas, David Michelini, Donny Cates, Jerry Conway, Jim Shooter. I mean, I'm like halfway through. Mark Bagley, Jonathan Hickman, Marv Wolfman, Steve McNiven, Andy Kubert, John Romita Jr., and others. Those are all the signers that we are planning on. I can't guarantee we're going to deliver every single one of them, but all of them are either in-house and good to go, or being collected, or being trying to negotiate it. So
nice. Okay.
I'm pretty sure nearly all of them, most of these names, are going to see the light of day. But right now we're still in the stages of collecting and seeing what we can and can't pack out. But that is like Bill Sienkiewicz will be having autograph cards on Moon Knight cards, and like we talked about, Jim Starlin with Thanos and crazy stuff there. I love that. Me as a comic book nerd, I love making cards, trading cards that create historical resonance from the history of publishing. I love doing that. Let's get those out of the way. Let's talk about the stuff that I think people are really attracted to in this product. And that's the fact that this has 100 pieces of original art in the base set. It's actually got a little bit more. It's got about 110, because there is 1 per case creator art variants that are short prints to the base set, whether you have a new photo, a new piece of art for a character. So you may have a character like Moon Knight, where the common card, as part of your 6 cards per pack thing, is done by one artist. But then there's a 1 per case photo variant to that card where the art's done by Bill Sienkiewicz.
One per
That's
case.
what's going on there.
Wow.
So
Okay.
really neat stuff. So let me see what I can do here. And this, unfortunately, really is only going to be for the folks that are watching this show. But Ian, as you've noted, because I listen to your show, I don't watch. As you've noted,
That's because you're driving.
you can always go back and watch the video.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch the video on this thing, scroll to the end of the show and
Fast
maybe you
forward
can
to
see
minute
some images here.
842. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to screen share with you, Ian, and then you can probably, I hope, take it from there, or maybe it just happens. I'm hoping everyone can see. Ian, can you see
I can
a
see that. Yeah,
screen
I've
of
got a
art?
fly attacking me at the moment time, but yes, I can see that.
All right.
Wow. Okay.
So this is sort of an internal document don't really normally show, but I wanted to give a sneak preview to some of the amazing art here. And you can see the level of art. I know it's crazy to say, it's probably heresy to say to some people. I would say this is not far removed from masterpieces in the quality of art. And the crazy
It's
part is
stunning.
that there are creators that we thought were only going to do one piece of art for us. And they're like, nah, I can do 2 or 5 pieces of art for you. Sure. Why not? Mike Allred, and or Bill Sienkiewicz. And so I'm going to kind of scroll through a little bit here.
Okay, let's
You can
pause
see
here.
here.
All right.
Some of the art just is stunning. I mean, that bullseye, it's just
The bullseye is
unbelievable.
incredible. The Captain America is incredible.
The
Captain
carnage. Look at the
Marvel,
carnage. Just looks fantastic.
All right, stop there a
You've
sec.
got on the bottom right corner, that's Mike Allred doing Doctor Strange, which I think
Doctor Strange.
he really brings the vision of Steve Ditko's Doctor Strange character floating around with globules of heart-shaped God knows what in the background. You've got Dave Palumbo doing Doctor Doom. You have Mike Allred doing Daredevil. I just love that Daredevil image. I think Kyle Kapow doing Colossus. That Vision and the Hawkeye are every bit as good as anything in masterpieces. This is going to be on Chromium stock. Oh, look at that Elektra by Bill Sienkiewicz.
Right,
are you kidding? Seriously?
Oh.
And then there's an artist named Tom Taggart. Look at the Fin Fang Foom.
Yeah.
His art is so unique. I'd never seen anything like it in my life. And me and TJ talked about it. When we saw Tom Taggart's stuff, and again, it's the Fin Fang Foom card right here.
Yeah.
We said, we've got to put this checklist in order by artist because people need to experience this set. When you build the set of 200 cards and put it into sheets and binders, all the Tom Taggart art should be together.
Nice.
And all the Casey Parsons art should be together, and all the Ron Lim art should be together, and all the artists should be together. And furthermore, let's put it in a cadence of most photorealistic or detailed and lifelike, all the way to like the most cartoony. So the last cards in the checklist will be Mike Allred. For those of you who know him dating back to his days with Mad Men. And I love Mike Allred's stuff. He's sort of like, if Steve Ditko had the ability to do more modern style art and live today, it would look like Mike Allred's art. And so when you put this set together, cards 1 through 100, cards 1 through 5 are going to be like Tom Taggart, and cards 95 through 100 are going to be Mike Allred. And the art will show a progression of different styles. And it's going to be so fun to collect. And hopefully that level of detail and love that TJ and I talked about on how to present the set and checklist it, provides a fun collecting experience for the consumer.
Back. I want to talk about that ghost spider Grant. Is that Palumbo?
Okay, yeah. I think it's Dave Palumbo.
It's just stunning. Just the perspective on that. Totally just the perspective. It's just,
I'm telling you, it's not a far stretch to say this is on the level of masterpieces.
Okay.
But it's a different beast, but the quality of art and then how we present it. Oops, sorry about that. Let me get rid of all that. How we present it, it's just, we haven't done anything like this before. I just love it. I don't know if you can see the Craven in the corner. It's incredible.
Yeah, no, I can see the Craven. Right.
Oh, I love this MODOK. Look at MODOK.
Yeah,
that's
MODOK.
Tom Taggart.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
Look at that MODOK right there. Isn't that great? Imagine that on Chromium. Imagine that on Chromium stock. So anyway, I feel really bad for the folks that are listening.
Well, they need to get to YouTube, don't they? These are, and it's gone. It's gone.
It's gone.
People will be pausing that for months to come. I guarantee it.
I'm super excited about this. I think the product is going to be a really fun break. I think we built a mousetrap that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, I'm super excited. Thank you so much for giving us that preview. Um, I have a feeling, given it's 3 o'clock where you are, that you've probably got other stuff to go on to because you said you're only available till 3 o'clock.
I do. My son is running in a track meet, and I've got to go and see him run.
Can I ask you three very, very quick snap fire questions before we let you go?
Sure.
Is there going to, someone asked me this, is there going to be a set for Thor Love and Thunder?
Yes.
Okay. Is there going to be a full set for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
Well, let me put it this way before I go in blow by blow. I noted earlier we have sort of an unspoken commitment to Marvel to try and provide trading card sets for each of the films and each of the shows. Is that 100% all the time? Not always, but if it's a bigger film or a bigger show, you could probably assume we're making a set.
Gotcha.
Can I leave it at that?
You can. Lovely. And the last question is, what year can we expect a new Marvel Masterpieces set?
Oh, gosh.
I know that's a cheeky
it's
one.
Well in the works. It is well in the works. The artist has been working on it. Incredibly talented artist. I've seen a lot of the art. A lot of the art is done. It's amazing. Beyond that,
watch this space.
As soon as we can get it to you.
Watch this space. Grant, thank you so much for giving us this time. I really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. Love coming on.
Come back again soon. I'm just going to sign us off, and rather than make you go through the pain of doing it. So thank you, everyone. Please rewind, pause, relive. Grant, thank you, and enjoy collecting, everybody.
And thanks to everybody. A pleasure to be able to do this for a living.
Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. Tasting notes and visuals for each episode can be found on our Facebook page. We're on most social media at the MCC Pod, and you can also watch the video of each episode recording on our YouTube channel. Leave us a voicemail via our home on anchor.fm/MCCP. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, and all major podcast platforms. Please take a second to subscribe, like, and review our show wherever you find us. Our Facebook community is at MCCW Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide and MMC Marvel Masterpieces Collectors. The great music we use on our audio version is called Rocket Power by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks to the collectors, artists and creators who support the Marvel Cards Fan Collective. We'll see you next time, and remember, it's a small hobby but a fun one. Make mine Marvel and enjoy collecting.